Everybody, it is the Mike Missanelli Show. How's everybody doing out there? You had a nice football night last night. You had a nice Phillies game. Pretty good viewing on both parts. As I know Bill is a Aaron Rodgers hater, so he was glad at the result last night as the San Francisco 49ers win in cover. And then you had the Phillies with a very exciting conclusion last night on a game-winning hit by Cody Clemens. We're going to have to dig into what the roster is going to be in the postseason because I think he's got to be on it. I never thought that I would have that opinion, but he's a hitter, man. I got to give this guy credit. I didn't think much of him, but he gets you good at bats. He hits pretty well. And, of course, there was the Bryce Harper faux pas last night, and then there was Millville's own Buddy Kennedy, who figured in the mix last night. We'll talk all about that. But, listen, it's Eagles season, so we're all geared up. Now, the problem with the next Eagles game, it's on a Monday night. So we have to, wait all these days and just go over every little bit of minutia on this Eagles team to figure out, to wait until they beat Atlanta on Monday, which they will. I'll bet that right now, that game, that they take care of Atlanta. So they'll be off to a 2-0 start, and I think that's good. So what do we have to worry about at this point? Well, we have the same kind of things to worry about because this is an interesting concept. We talked about this all last year. And at the end, we did not take inventory of the Eagles skating by in almost every game last year during the regular season. I got caught in it. I know Bill got caught up in it. I know probably Ray got caught up in it. The Eagles were 10-1, and we're saying, who cares, man? A good team is a win. And however they win a game, it's fine. It's a sign of a good team. Now, the other side of it was, I don't know. They're skating by the skin of their teeth. They don't look complete. And what happened? We got smacked in the head because the people that thought a win is a win and they'd be fine really got a major lesson when it turned out that they weren't the team that we thought they were, and maybe we should have taken more inventory of them winning ugly. So let's look at the Green Bay game. Did they win ugly? I don't know. See, they beat a good team. So I know people are going, you have to worry about what they did last year, but I look at it like they beat a good team. Should I worry about them skating by? They covered. They won a game that they covered and spread. So if they were a 2-point favorite, they won by more than that. I go, okay, what do we really have to worry about with that team? So let's see where we are on this. Bill, I'm going to take your temperature right away because, you were a guy last year. We did all these post-game shows, and I think you said, I don't know. I think you were one of the guys that said, I don't know. I don't like the way this is compiling. So what was your opinion of Game 1 as you plug it into that concept that we just talked about?
You look at last season, there was a big difference. And again, it's only week 1, so we're going off of just 1 week of an example right now, but you looked at last season, the offense never looked like there was any rhyme or reason to what they were doing. The play calling was all over the place. It didn't seem like there was any real coordination to why they were calling certain plays. You didn't get that in week 1. They put up 34 points, and yes, Jalen Hurts made some mistakes that we want to see him clean up with the turnovers, Cam Jurgens with the bad snap. But outside of that, I thought that the offense had really good rhythm. I thought that Kellen Moore was designing plays to get his playmakers open. So that's why I feel better about the offense than I did last season, even during that 10-1 start. And then you jump over to the other side of the football. There's a lot more upside with this defense than there was last year. We were saying that all summer, and you saw it on full display against the Green Bay Packers, especially with a guy I didn't expect to play as well as he did, which was Zach Bond. Now, the big question mark, though, is can they get enough pass rush? They certainly didn't have it against Jordan Love. How much of that was the field? How much of that was the Green Bay Packers? You go back to last season, the Green Bay Packers, I think, were number 3 in the NFL in giving up sacks. They don't give up a lot of sacks. So take it with a grain of salt. We'll see what they could do against Kirk Cousins. But I'm feeling pretty good. It's like you said, you played a good opponent. They put up 34 points. I think they came back. They were down 4 different times. So that showed a lot of resiliency. I feel good today. I'm excited.
I didn't feel that good yesterday because we were talking about Jalen Hurts and the bad mistakes that he made. I would feel a lot better if he didn't throw those 2 interceptions where his mindset wasn't proper. But, you countered with this. against the blitz, he was terrible last year. Against the blitz in this game, he was 6 for 8 for 91 yards and a touchdown. Plus, he got a scramble to get out of there for 8 yards and a first down. So when you look at that, you go, does that counterbalance the fact that he threw 2 terrible interceptions because he wasn't thinking the game properly? I don't know. I guess today I feel a little more balanced when it comes to that. I still don't like the turnover.
No, you don't like the turnovers. And I said it yesterday that it was inexcusable, the one in the red zone where he's rolling to his right and he throws back across his body into the end zone. And I've had some people sharing the video on Twitter. We had a caller say it yesterday that A.J. Brown slips in the end zone. You still don't throw that damn ball. Yes, A.J. Brown does slip. Maybe he's able to go up and knock it down so Jair Alexander doesn't get the interception. You don't throw that football at that moment. You have to have better football IQ. You take the loss, throw it out of bounds, kick a field goal, go up 8.
All right. I need to know, forget us, I need to know whether fans are going to be more cynical about this. It's funny, when fans get burned, it's really difficult for them to get to the other side. And they got burned last year. They got burned into believing that the Eagles were a legit 10-1 team. It wasn't this team that was just leaking by. So I'm wondering how much leeway will the fans give this team? Like, for instance, here's the perfect scenario. They play the Falcons. They're supposed to beat the Falcons. I don't know what the line is. I would assume that they're maybe a 6-point, 7-point favorite against the Falcons, right?
It was 6.5 last time I checked.
There you go. It's right in that ballpark. If they just squeak by against the Falcons at home, will that too? I want to know how fans will feel about that. What do you think the reaction will be?
What do I think the fans' reaction
yes.
will be? If it's, I guess it depends on how it looks.
I've just told you how it looks.
Well, you say you squeaked by.
They squeaked by.
Did they squeak by because the offense struggled, or did they squeak by
really
because
matter.
the defense struggled?
Doesn't matter whether the offense struggled or defense struggled. They still squeaked by. Last year they squeaked by. We ignored it. Will they ignore it this time?
Probably not.
They will not.
No, we got PTSD.
Game 2 in a lot of ways is a barometer for what happens here. They have to win the game convincingly to get the fans not to go, oh, no. Because that's what fans do in this town.
Well, especially after last year.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that I agree with you, but I will warn fans. The Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons offense you saw on full display in Week 1, I don't expect you to see that in Week 2. I think the Falcons are going to put up some points.
You do?
They have enough weapons.
You think this is going to be a more formidable game? Now, it opened at -4. It's now up to 6.5.
Yeah, I think the Eagles win, and I think the Eagles win because they're going to put up a ton of points, but I don't expect the Falcons to not score. They put up 10 points against the Steelers.
So you think this will be a squeak-by game? That's what you're saying. Is that what he's saying, Ray? Sometimes I got to read between the lines with Bill.
I got to still evaluate.
Out there, he wants to make the point, but he goes, they only get so far, and then you got to read between the lines.
I just think they're going to score some points, the Falcons. I got to still evaluate. I haven't made my pick if they're going to cover the 6.5.
Well, that's the whole point. Because if they cover the 6.5, then fans go, okay. They breathe a sigh of relief. If they don't, it's like, oh, no. Are we going to go through this again?
Well, you look at the Falcons' offense. You got Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London.
Forget the Falcons' offense. Forget that. Forget the analysis of it, right? Because fans aren't looking at the analysis of it. They're going, the Falcons stunk last week. The Eagles are almost a touchdown favorite. If they don't win by a touchdown, well, are we thinking about last year? That's the thing that fans look at. They're not going to go, well, the Falcons have this and they have that. Bill does that, not fans.
Yeah, you're right. Fans are going to overreact if they don't crush the Falcons.
All right, now I got to throw this out because I'm on the record now, and I'm getting filleted that Bryce Harper is beyond my criticism. He's not beyond my criticism when he does stuff like that last night. Now, there's a difference between not running something out. If you hit like a 3-hopper to the second baseman, and you know that the only way that you're going to be safe on that play is if he throws it away. No, it doesn't matter whether you run or not because the play's not going to be close. If you don't run, you want to save a couple. Jimmy Marlins used to do that all the time. Save a little energy, blah, blah, blah. But when you hit a ball and you get wrapped up in your hero mode, which is what he does a lot, he hit that. That was a line drive that you never know it's out. If you hit a ball and you know you got it, then I'm okay with going into the trot. And every hitter knows when they got it. He hit that as a low line drive. There is no reason on earth that he should not be on second base. And that could have turned out to hurt him, okay? And it wasn't for the grace of God, a chopper by Bryson Stott that he beat out, and Buddy frickin' Kennedy working a walk.
Buddy.
With one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen last night. And they don't win that game. And that's where I criticize him. And I know Rob Thomas said, well, yeah, he knew he did wrong. He came up to me right away. See, Bryce, he loves that hero thing. He loves to drop it. And I get it. He's into the drama.
He's the showman.
And now he's known as Mr. Drama. But when you hit a line drive, you can't go into a trot.
You know what's funny, Mike? Since you said that Bryce Harper was above criticism, you've now criticized him twice.
I know. But I've criticized him for what I think are legitimate reasons. There's a difference between running something out and not running something out, or running something out and not running something out when you don't have to run something out. That is a situation where you have to run it out.
He absolutely does. I just don't know how much more you criticize a guy when he acknowledges that it's unacceptable.
I don't care that he acknowledges it. That means nothing to me. I need the moment. Him saying sorry doesn't do anything for me.
Would you want Thompson to do something differently?
No, I'm just saying I'm giving all the responsibility to him. Sorry, you can stuff in a sock, right? The mindset is it's a low-line drive. I got to bust it. 610-632-0975. It's the Mike Missanelli Show back after this. Rocking you. 610-632-0975. Do you get caught up in singing jingles, Bill?
Yeah, they get in my head.
Jingles get in my head, the commercial jingles. Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination. I can't get that in my head now.
Yeah, the Rally House is always in my brain.
Oh, yeah. Eagles, Sixers, Villanova, Penn State.
Don't be late. Rally House.
You know, it's these radio issues, all these jingles stick in your head. You find yourself going home, and I'm singing a freaking commercial jingle. It's like an earworm.
Yeah, there's a lot of good jingles over the years.
I'd like to be the jingle master. You know, like just have a company that makes up jingles. Yeah.
That's what Uncle Jesse and Joey did on Full House.
Oh, is that what they did?
Then they used to do jingles, Ray? Were you a Full House guy, Ray?
I watched sparingly. I can't tell you I watched from episode 1 to the end of it.
Yeah, I never watched those kind of shows.
Yes, that was when I was growing up, and my daughter, who's 9, going to be 10, for whatever reason, became obsessed with it. So I've watched them all over again.
When I was a kid, I did, and then as a teen and beyond, I didn't watch sitcoms. I was anti-sitcom.
Oh, you missed out, man.
My favorite sitcom was Sanford's.
Yeah, you missed out on some good
No, but
ones,
I didn't
though.
watch like the Full Houses or the one that Michael Keaton was in. What was that?
Family Ties?
Family Ties? Is that what it was?
Yeah, that was
With Meredith Baxter Burney.
I was a little young for that one.
You were?
For me, it was Full House. Saved by the Bell was huge.
How about
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
The one with Tony Danza was in.
Oh,
Where, what was that one?
what was that called? I can't believe I can't remember it. Alyssa Milano was in it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I used to watch it.
Tony Danza was.
Yeah, I can't believe I don't remember the name. Somebody will get it on our YouTube chat.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, so I'm watching the game last night, and I go, okay, could they pull this out? After that Harper makes that faux pas, I'm going, the Phillies are going to lose this game. They're going to lose it in extra innings, right? And it turned out they didn't, because Stott, that was he hustled down the line and beat that out, right? To me, that was the key play. Now, Buddy Kennedy comes up. Now, I'll do back to Buddy Kennedy. I know he's from Millville. I know he's got some local people there. Garrett Clevenger's the pitcher. How on earth do you walk him?
Yeah, it's not.
Seriously, I'm looking at it from a baseball standpoint, and here's what I'm thinking. Every player in the field is going, dude, come on, man. This is Buddy Kennedy. He just threw a fastball down the middle that he fouled back because he was late on it, and then the next pitch he throws in the dirt to Buddy Kennedy? You walk him on 6 pitches?
It was the fans chanting Buddy. We were in his head, man.
This guy, there's players for LA that ready to chop his head off. Dude, throw a freaking strike to this guy. We're crying out loud.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. But then Cody Clemens comes up big.
Yeah, and that's when you got. Then you face Cody Clemens. I know it's left on left. Maybe he's thinking left on left. Rather face, but Cody Clemens is a professional hitter more than Buddy Kennedy would be. Like that ticks players off. I know that they're all thinking the same thing.
Yeah, just
dude, you walk this guy. Come on now.
Yeah, just put something over the plate.
Right.
And by the way, because 4 people have texted me already, 30 people have commented in the YouTube chat. It was Who's the Boss?
Who's the boss?
Tony Danza.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
What was he? He was the maid?
He was the maid.
He was the maid.
Yeah, and the mom was a businesswoman, and Alyssa Milano was the daughter. Was Lawrence one of the sons too?
I'm telling you, I didn't watch these shows.
You watched Seinfeld though. That's a sitcom.
I didn't watch Seinfeld when it was on.
Gotcha.
I watched Seinfeld after the fact.
And that's also way different than a regular sitcom.
It is.
It is. But I wasn't even into that. Like I looked for dramas at that point. Like, sitcoms didn't do it for me.
You're too intellectual.
No. I grew up watching sitcoms. Like the silliest ass sitcoms ever when I was a kid. The Munsters and the Addams Family, right?
Yes.
Like Herman, I couldn't get enough of the Munsters. The Munsters was brilliant.
Ray don't even know what you're talking about.
I know.
I've heard of the Munsters, but if you want me to go into detail here, you're going to be really disappointed.
Munsters had a baseball issue, right? A baseball episode where Herman, who was like 8 feet tall and had all this power hitting ability, somehow Leo DeRocher winds up in town and discovers him and takes him to the ballpark, and he's hitting balls into the next town. And he tried to sign him. So he puts him in the uniform with I guess he was the manager of the Giants at the time. And Herman slides into second base, but he was so heavy that he he dug into the ground like 5 feet.
You see
and
the
never
wonderful
got to the
TV
base.
we missed, Ray?
Yeah.
You see how
I'm
wonderful?
upset.
The Munsters
I'm
were-
sure the graphics were
The
so
Munsters
good
were
too.
Brilliant. They had a beautiful cousin who lived with them, but the Munster looked at her like she was ugly.
Yes, it's all
Remember that?
perspective.
What was her name? Marilyn.
It's all. There was a Twilight Zone episode like that too. That was a good show.
Oh, was there? Oh, I love the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, there was one where the woman keeps saying she's ugly the whole show, and then she was more normal looking than the rest of them. It's all perspective.
The Twilight Zone one. I can't believe we're off this on this tangent. The Twilight Zone one where the guy could see the future, so he decided to make bets. Like he knew the result of the race before it happened.
I remember that
He
one.
could see the future, right? And as it wound up, he saw himself getting pushed out of a window, and like 10 minutes later, it happened.
Yes, I remember that
He
one.
plunged to his death.
I do remember that. Twilight Zone was good.
It really was.
Twilight
pretty
Zone
good.
was good.
All right,
I wish we could see the future about this Eagles team, though.
0975. It's interesting.
You see that? You see that
Yeah.
segue?
Yeah, I saw it.
You see that segue, Mike?
Congrats.
Look at the power rankings. Now, this is encouraging. Okay, the Chiefs are one. The 49ers, they beat up the Jets. We always look at the 49ers like they're gonna slip up. So without Christian McCaffrey, they beat up the Jets last night, right?
Yeah.
It's a good team. They're well coached. They got great personnel.
You see the drama, though, after the game now?
What happened with the drama? What was?
So they asked the running back, what was his name again? The guy who
Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason.
If you didn't have him in fantasy, you're too late.
Lisa Salters asks him, when did you find out you were going to start? He says Friday night. Well, Kyle Shanahan comes out and says, we didn't tell him on Friday night because that would be a major violation. They had McCaffrey listed as questionable up until an hour before kickoff.
Oh.
And now Jordan Mason, this is what I don't like about the media. They ask bad questions. That's not really a bad question. When'd you find out you were going to start?
I didn't check in with the post-game stuff.
Yeah, so anyway, the 49ers now getting a little bit of heat because they had him listed as questionable even though they knew he wasn't going to play.
Well, anyway, they're good. All right.
Very good.
There's no denying it. So they're 2. I'm not so sure they should be 1. But Buffalo Bills are 3, huh? Hey.
Which one's this? The New York Times one?
Athletic.
NFL.
The Athletic,
Oh,
okay.
the Athletic. Buffalo Bills, and then the Houston Texans, who squeaked by the Colts. I don't know about that either. The Detroit Lions get hosed again.
ESPN has
they're 5th.
ESPN has the Lions at 3.
Okay. And the Eagles are 6th, according to this. And they're ahead of the Dallas Cowboys, which to me is encouraging. See, if I was voting, I would put the Dallas Cowboys, after the way they looked, ahead of the Eagles. So I am encouraged. The only thing is, do we have to go back into that mindset where we go, well, they're squeaking by, that's okay? Or is it not okay anymore? 610-632-0975, back after this. 97.5, The Fanatic. 610-632-0975. All right, I want to get some phone calls in here, and then I want to go to this Huff thing, because I'm reading a story in the Inquirer today. Do you still read the Inquirer?
Online.
You read it online?
I don't get do you get the paper?
Well, I still get it in digital form. Like, I don't get it delivered. You know, like newspaper, I grew up with it. So I like to see the newspaper laid out the way it's laid out, right? And that's where you get the digital version. It's like the newspaper that's just online. So you can see page 1 and page 2 and the whole bit.
I got
and
you.
then you click on a story and it pops up in digital form. So
Yeah.
or you expand the screen to read it.
I just go right to Inquirer.com.
So I still, and I know a lot of people don't even look at it anymore, but it's still one of the things that I look at first. And I know a lot of people go to websites there and to get their news, or go over here and avoid the daily newspaper anymore. I totally get it. But there's a headline. It's a columnist, I guess, David Murphy wrote the story. Eagles desperately need more from Bryce Huff. Their biggest week one bust since Ricky Waters. I'm going, whoa, hold on a second. Listen, okay, he didn't have a great game, and he didn't have a lot of snaps, but is it to that extent? Ricky Waters was the who for what game. He averaged 2 yards a carry in his first game. He lost the fumble, and he had the alligator arm late game pull away, which gave the for who for what comment. That was a disaster more than Huff was, wasn't it?
I think people need to maybe lower their expectations a little with Bryce Huff, because it's what I keep hearing, and I heard it on the morning show too. You gave him all this money.
You gave him $51 million.
When you look,
3 years.
Yeah, when you look at the edge rusher market, he's making $17 million a year. Brian Burns, who the Giants traded for, turned around and gave him $28.2 million a year. Bryce Huff is on a bargain deal for a reason.
Yeah, so, I get it. But still, I mean, you got to perform, and he didn't, and that's a glaring weakness that they have. And Nick Sirianni was asked about it, and he went. This is not a great answer to it, because he's got hamada. But he was asked about why Huff got so few snaps.
There's different reasons for how the drive's going. If they're going and they were going on the ball, at certain points. So, like, some of those plays can kind of build up in that game with the style of game it was, and with some of the tempo that was happening. Guys, I don't know exactly how many more reps was it. When it's that close, when it's like one more or two more, I mean, that the context of that, I didn't know exactly what it was. But, yeah, I mean, it's a couple more in that. And just like with the catches or with the ball, the touches, that can go different ways each game.
I know that you said that, and maybe Vic has said this too, that it's a new scheme for him. Is it, and Huff didn't really produce. But are you guys concerned?
Yeah, no, not at all. Again, like I said, Jeff, it's just the way kind of sometimes the way it goes, and again, you want to keep guys fresh. But sometimes that's very similar to how the touches on offense go as well.
That's a total cover-up answer. Now, he can't answer it. He can't say, like, if a reporter says, aren't you concerned about everybody? He's not going to say, yes, I am. It's after game one. He's going to have to stick up for his player. But the gold is in the actual question. You have to ask the question, because that's the issue that's out there. Now, I don't expect him to answer it, and you saw how he couldn't answer it. He was, like, all over the place with that answer.
Yeah, and he acted, I didn't know how much different snaps there were. So.
But basically what that was.
You're probably talking, if we're being honest here, though, we're probably talking about 5 more snaps that people would like to see Bryce Huff get, because Josh Sweat played the most of any edge rusher. He played 41. So then Brandon Graham gets 32, Nolan Smith gets 31, Bryce Huff gets 30. So maybe you'd like to see Huff get 5 more and take 5 away from BG, and then you're happy?
Well, when you sign a guy to that kind of a contract, the expectations are that you're going to play him. That's where it comes in. Forget about what the other guy's got. That guy's got to get the main snaps. And if he doesn't, there's a reason why.
He's not going to be Hassan Reddick, man. Hassan Reddick played.
That's a shame then.
Yeah,
because
Hassan
they
Reddick
traded out one for the other.
They did, and it was a mistake.
Okay.
And we've been saying that all summer.
You think it was a mistake this early? I'm going to give him a little more leeway. I'm just saying that the coach can't answer it like I'm concerned. Like, if you go 6 games in, maybe he can say he's concerned. But if he says he's concerned, he cuts his legs off his player.
Yeah, but the reason it was a mistake, and I am willing to say it now, is because you took a guy in Reddick who played over 860 snaps both seasons he was here, didn't miss a game, double-digit sacks both years. And then what you did is you tried to replace him with Bryce Huff, who's never played more than 45%. And guess what he played in that game? 45%. So you're getting what he's always been.
But this adds to the narrative. Reddick bitched and moaned. And they go, no. Holmes, we don't have that here. So we're gonna try to justify this.
And Reddick was making $15 million a year. From reports, he wanted more than $25 million a year, and they turned around and paid Huff $17. So they didn't want to spend the money.
Let's go to Steve on the cell. Start things off today. Steve, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, Mike, what's going on?
What's up, Stevie?
First of all, I'm glad to have you back. Me and you, we think alike in a lot of ways. We both like Philly, and we think of I like obscure songs from the '80s. I'm gonna tell you, yesterday was the second funniest segment I've ever seen on one of their shows. Let me tell you the first real quick. The first was, the story about the girl, the stench, whatever, the swimmer, whatever. But it was funny when you told it a couple years ago you were on with Tyrone, and y'all were like going back and forth about it. But
what swimmer are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. What swimmer?
What you said? It was a girl you liked. You went to follow her to the bathroom. And
you said that last week.
Oh, yeah. The story of the Georgia swimmer.
In New Orleans.
In New Orleans.
Georgia swimmer.
Yeah.
You told that a couple of years ago.
I did.
When you were on with Tyrone.
Yeah, I did.
Hilarious the way
yeah.
All right. But so that was first. The second point was yesterday when you brought up Falco, their commissar, whatever, the song.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh, Falco, baby. You know what their most famous song is? Rock Me Amadeus.
Amadeus, yeah.
Rock Me Amadeus.
Yeah, but see, guys like Ray and Bill, they don't appreciate that. The 80s was a good time.
They were. I love the new wave music that came through the 80s.
Exactly. And let me tell you.
And I'll tell you what I forgot to mention, like the early 90s hip-hop. Like I was a Cool Mo D, Big Daddy Kane, Fat Joe guy. When that came in. Like, there's always stages that I've added layers to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love late 80s, 90s hip-hop. Let me tell you another song that did that where they had the English version and the German. I guess it was German. Remember that song, 99?
Luftballons by Nina. The German last Nina.
No, I thought it was Nina. Yeah,
it was not. It's pronounced Nina. Because it's German. You know how they do in Germany.
She had two versions too.
Exactly.
Yeah, but anyway, I forgot what I called about the Eagles. Yeah, I think they look not great but good on Friday, and I like how Kellen Moore designed the offense where a lot of the wide receivers were getting catches, getting yards after the catch, and I think we'll be okay. This Jalen Hurts, he just has to eliminate the turnovers, and we'll be fine.
Okay, I get it. I hope he can. See, that's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that would have been taken care of already, and he made two horrible decisions to turn the ball over. It's like deja vu all over again.
Yeah, you're really caught up on just the one negative. And it's a big negative. I agree. You got to clean up the turnovers. But when you take that game as a whole, there was a lot more good than bad when you look at Jalen Hurts' game. I mean, you're not giving him credit for some of the throws he made.
I gave him all kinds of credit yesterday. You keep wanting the credit to erase the bad. Two things can be true here, Bill. Two things can be true. That he did make some plays, but also it plugs right into what the biggest problem with him was last year. I can't just ignore that.
You can't ignore it. I'm not saying to ignore it, and he definitely needs to get better.
Right. Help me out here. Is he ignoring it?
Dancing around it.
He's kind of ignoring it.
He's trying to overpower the bad
It really doesn't matter because he made some good throws. Well, it does matter to me because it plugs into a bigger problem. If he's like that all year, they get screwed. They're not going to be a good team if he turns the ball over like that.
He's not going to be like that all year. I'm confident in it.
I hope you're right.
I'm confident in it being week one. You're knocking off some rust. All in all, for a week one performance, I was very happy with what I saw from Jalen.
All right. You know the song 99 Luftballons?
I do know that song.
You do?
Look
Look at you, man. Now, you know what Luft means?
I don't. I don't know the word. That's why
what's a Luftballon?
What is a Luftballon?
It means air.
99 air balloons?
Yeah.
It's kind of a
I know. See,
ridiculous song.
That's in German. It's funny. Niner Luftballons. You know, it's got that harshness, that language. I use here Mediterranean language like Spanish or Italian. It flows. Or French. It flows. Germany, right there in the same vicinity, the same neighborhood. Luftballons.
Yeah, a little bit different. Yeah, literally translates to air balloons and means regular party balloons. That's it. That was the translation.
There you go. 99 of them.
99 balloons.
I don't know how to say 99 in German.
99? That means no.
It is 99. It's pronounced the same way. Oh, no, wait. That's not it. I'm sorry. I'll have to get that.
No, 99 would be no, wouldn't it?
I don't know. What's the number system? In German, I don't know.
No, I'm saying 99 in German is no, right? Isn't 9 no in German?
I believe so. I think you have that one right. I have the pronunciation up here, and there's a lot of letters that just don't click in my head working together. So I'm not even going to give it a try for you guys here.
In German, 99 means 99. So it's 99 Luft balloons. Angie P in North Philly. What's up, Angie P?
Mikey Miss, what's good?
What's up?
Ain't nothing. It's Auntie P, man. Short for Auntie.
What's up, Angie P?
Ain't nothing. Listen, man. You know I respect you a lot, Mikey Miss, and I'm glad you back, man. And I know you've been doing this for a long time. You get what I'm saying? But we can't go into Monday with that mindset of yours thinking that this is a layup. We just gonna win. You get what I'm saying? It's like we can't go off of what Atlanta did last week and how they stunk it up. First and foremost, they played the Steelers defense with T.J. Watt on there. We don't have no type of T.J. Watt on our defensive line. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I feel as though we got to go in there on our toes, ready to go, and ball out like we know who we playing on paper. We playing Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. We got to go on that mindset. We can't go on a mindset that this is a sweet layup. They just lost the Pittsburgh Steelers, who we know is bad, but their defense is great. You know our defense. We got to improve a lot on our defense.
Well, here's the thing, Archie. I can have that mindset. Right. They can't. Like, I can have any mindset I want. And I look at this okay, they're a 6.5-point favorite at home. They should win this game. Otherwise, we're going to go back to the feeling of last year. Won't get fooled again. Because I got fooled last year that 10-1 record when they were skating by was going to serve them well in the playoffs. Instead, the opposite happened. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying, but maybe they was on a type time like we 10-1, we going to the playoffs. We did this, everything is a layup from here on out, and they got caught up in that, and that's how we start losing. I'm just saying is that this how you thinking. I don't want them or us fans to even, get.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that like if they're listening, they're driving around. I don't know, they practice it. They're listening to me. I'm pretty sure they're not saying, you know what, man, Mikey Miss thinks we should kill his team. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think they're factoring that in.
Right. I just wanted to clear it up.
All right, I know. You're a cautious man. See, you're a one game at a time type of guy. Oh, you're going to take it right. I get it. But see, I have the leeway to go, come on, man. They should beat this team by a touchdown. That's what the line in Vegas says. So I respect the smart people out there.
Yeah, but I do agree with some of what Anchi P said. What do you say? It stands for entrepreneur?
You're a football man, and you I'm one game at a time. You've been coached by these football guys and the whole.
But the best thing he's talked about was that the Eagles don't have a guy like T.J. Watt. And I think I mentioned that to you yesterday off air. You look at a lot of these other teams. The Dallas Cowboys have Micah Parsons. The Steelers have T.J. Watt. The Lions have Aiden Hutchinson. The 49ers have Nick Bosa. The Eagles don't have a guy. Even if Bryce Huff plays more than 30 snaps, I don't see him being that dominant force off the edge like these other teams have. And that's an issue. You would love to see somebody on that defense that can take over a game. They're not going to have that. Now, can Does that mean they can't win the Super Bowl? No. They're going to have to do it in other ways, but it would be nice to see. T.J. Watt dominated that game for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Dominated.
Now, here's the other one, right? Nick Sirianni, 9, because I know this is a major part of contention for Eagle fans that they don't play their starters in the preseason. And we've talked about this and the risk-reward of it. It was 1 quarter series, 2 series going to make any kind of a difference going into week 1? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it would, maybe no. My instincts say it doesn't really matter, and the risk of getting hurt is not worth it. But Nick was asked about it. So here's what he had to say about playing in the preseason and whether they didn't or not.
Week 1 of the season, I think you could probably look around the league and see sloppy football all the way around. You're trying to control as little of that as possible. I don't think it matters who played their starters in the preseason, who didn't play their starters in the preseason. I saw sloppy football out of both sides yesterday, and I won't get into this team was sloppy and this team, whatever. But I got to sit and watch football yesterday, and there was a lot of sloppy football, just like we had sloppy football. Right, but that's something that you're constantly trying to get better at through the season. I'm pleased with how we've started, obviously here. I'm pleased with how we've went about our process. We've started fast, and so we've already done our evaluation of the preseason and what we will do better next time, and things that we thought we did well. But it prepped us to get an opening day win against a very, very good opponent who, went to the divisional round last year. And so to be able to go on the road, I know this one was considered a home game, but I believe it was the farthest we've had to travel. Atlanta wasn't as far as us. To be on the road, I'm pleased with how we kind of went out and performed.
There you go. What do you think?
I've been saying this since camp started. I don't need to see them play in the preseason. They now have a record under Nick Sirianni of 8-2 in September. You look at the first games of Nick Sirianni's 4 seasons. Not only are they undefeated, 4-0, 32 points, 38 points, 25 points, 34 points. Playing 2 or 3 series in a preseason game weeks before game 1 isn't going to make a difference. And Sirianni's right. Even teams who played their starters, week 1 is sloppy because preseason football is not regular season football. Can we stop with this crap?
You know who played in the preseason?
49ers.
I was going to say Jordan Love.
Yeah, Jordan Love played.
The 49ers
they were
play
sloppy
their
too.
Starters in the preseason?
I don't know. Did the Niners play?
I mean, that would be a barometer. They looked sharp last night.
Yeah, and guess what?
What?
Both teams are 1-0.
Yeah, I get you.
Right? And Christian McCaffrey's got an injury. Eagles don't have any
I hear
injuries.
you. Dan in Philly, you're 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Danny?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Good,
to
man.
hear you, Mike.
How you doing?
So I wanted to call. I'm one of these sports guys that also does a lot of other stuff, and I occasionally have little tidbits I can call in. A couple of years ago, I cleared up the penultimate, antepenultimate, and pre-antepenultimate discussion.
Oh, there you go.
But today, I'd like to chime in a little bit on the German. So 9 is, in fact, no in German. You guys are right about that. The word for 9, translation, the number 9, is N-E-U-N, 9. And the way German works, the syntax is messed up. So you hear the first number. So if I'm saying 24, you'd hear 4, which is 4, und 20, 4 and 20. So you don't know what the tens is till the end. So 9 could be 9 and something, 59, 69, but 9 und 90 is 90, so that's 99.
All right. That's
look at
good.
us.
I love it. I love it, Dan. Are you German?
No, but I have a doctorate in conducting, and I'm a professional classical singer. So I lived in Austria for 6 months, and I took several years of German.
Well, you definitely have the accent, the German accent. That's very, very proficient. Yes, you definitely go, on.
Classical singer, too.
Yeah.
All right.
A Renaissance man.
Yeah,
we're on
nice
the
job,
phone with.
man. I appreciate you calling in. There you go. There's Dan clearing it up.
Let me ask you a question.
It's such a harsh language. It's funny. It's like you're never offered, like in school, that as a
Eustace offered it.
choice. Really?
Yeah, Bishop Eustace offered
had
it.
German?
They had German.
Oh my God.
And what other show in the city?
Where are you gonna speak German? Like,
In Germany, I guess.
Unless you go to Germany, like
Germany.
it's not like you're gonna communicate with anybody.
Where are you speaking Italian? Unless you go to Italy.
No, there's Italians here that are playing.
There's Germans here, too.
Very few.
All I got to say is there's no other sports talk show in the city getting German lessons like we just
there
got.
you go. On. 610-632-0975. Back after this. Thanks for joining us. 610-632-0975, 10 o'clock hour, which we just went through, ending up with German lessons. It's brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows, plus they make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Just call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. All right, I'm going to get into this. We'll start 11 o'clock hour with this because it's based on watching Monday Night Football last night. It was the debut of Jason Kelce. Now, this is not, I can tell you right away, this is not going to be popular with most of the people who are listening right now, because Jason Kelce's a guy in this city. He can do no wrong. He's so Philly. So last night he comes out of the gate with this notion that he forgot his travel bag. Like, how do you forget a travel bag in your truck? You're traveling. Right? Like, what you don't think you have to take anything with you? So he has to wind up buying a shirt at the airport. His shirt's a little snug for him. And he goes, it fits my belly now. I've lost a little weight, but my bleeps are still struggling.
I think we have the audio.
All right, let's play the audio. I don't know if we can't play the word, right?
I think they played it this morning with the word.
They did?
They did play this morning with the word.
Okay, I don't know that that's an appropriate word to play, but if they played it already, okay, let's play it, Ray.
Collectively, we are thrilled to welcome in a six-time first team All-NFL selection. A Super Bowl champion. Six times. Future gold jacket wearer. You got a podcast that apparently is doing fairly well. And all that said, Jason Kelce is wearing a shirt he got at the mall because he left his travel bag in the truck. Left the bag in the truck.
Fits my belly now. I've lost a little bit of weight, but my tits are still struggling.
I feel, listen, that's so cool. I don't think it's so cool. Is this me now? Like, why? I go, why? What was the point of that? Like, it appeals to like the lowest common denominator. You hear what Kelsey said? He said tits. Oh my god! And I go, is that cool?
Well,
really, I don't get it. Like, why? What's the buy? Do you have to?
So I missed it live because I was at the Phillies game. I didn't watch any of it. But my question was, everybody else is in a suit, right? Would he have been in a suit if he didn't leave his travel bag? Because he was just wearing a dress shirt.
You can fold a suit into travel bag?
But that's why I'm wondering.
You can steam it, I guess, when you get to the hotel. But I don't know. How do you forget the bag in the first place? What were you wearing? You show up with a T-shirt, and that's it? Yeah, it's like Coy Detmer used to show up on road trips to the Eagles with a toothbrush. That's all he would bring.
Well, that's because he was very frugal.
Yeah.
He didn't spend money.
Well, how do you forget a travel bag? But my point is the T word. Like, do you have to? It's almost like now he's playing into a character.
Oh, he definitely is. He has to.
So like the root and crew, the blue collar guy. All right, but do you have to say that on the air?
So, do you think it's exaggerated? You don't think he's this type of guy?
I don't know what it is. I'm curious to know. Most people love it. Like, I see the social media. Oh, you got a big yuck out of it. And I go, he said that, and I cringed. I like, what is it about? Like, am I different? Is it just, what happened to decorum? Like, do you have to say that?
Now, you're saying most people love it.
I think most people love it.
YouTube chat does not.
Really?
So we got Flyers in 7. I can't stand either Kelsey. Calvin says Kelsey is overexposed. No, MBD, I don't care what Kelsey says on ESPN either way. Flyers in 7, he's not funny. Crypt Gaming, chasing Kelsey can't get a suit. He's a boring ex-jock. People aren't as in love, I guess,
listen,
on
I'm just
YouTube.
trying to boil it down to one thing. I know what he is, okay? People love that blue-collar thing about Jason Kelce. I get it. He'll forever be a hero with the mummers thing. I totally get the whole thing on why they like him. He'll drink a beer with the crowd in a football game. I get it. I'm just saying, now that you're on TV, you got an all broad audience. Do you have to say the T word? For like, what's the payoff? That I'm Jason Kelce. I can say anything I want. I can say something that nobody else would say on TV.
Look, I have been on record saying I think that both Kelceys are a little overexposed. But last night doesn't bother me as much as it's bothering you. Because I just think that's who he is. And when you hired him, this is what you wanted.
But who you are doesn't have to be who you are on television. You can be rude and crude. You don't have to say that word. Do you have to say that word? Well, like it's like force. Like you're not supposed to say that word. Nobody has ever said that word. Nobody.
I don't think they don't bleep it though.
But I don't know why they didn't bleep. I have no idea. I have never heard that word being uttered by anybody unless it's a comedian in some stand-up. Like you're a football analyst. You say that word? Really, it's preposterous.
Now, we did yesterday give Tom Brady the old first day on the job pass.
True.
And today is, a guy who's been on a podcast who's had creative freedom to say whatever he wants.
Did Tom Brady say tits?
No, he barely knew what he wanted to say when he was talking.
That's all I'm saying. This is a national audience. There are kids that are watching it. Not that you have to cater to children, but it would in your head. You go, that's inappropriate. Just calm it down.
He did. He didn't drop any F-bombs. I think that is him calming it down, Mike.
He's had creative freedom now in pretty much everything he's done. I think it's going to take a second to adjust to that.
I want to hear how people react to it. I heard it. I cringed. Now, what does that mean? I'm like the moral high ground man? No. It's something you don't hear. It's just like when I heard Utley say that in a public square, world bleeping champion. I had the same. Like there's some things, and I'm not a prude. I curse. But I'm not going to sit here and curse on the air or curse in public when I'm out speaking. I just don't understand it.
Now, Jason Kelsey delivered one of the most iconic speeches ever in this city. Dropped a bunch of F-bombs. Did you have problems with that?
Yes. Yeah, I did. I thought it was pandering.
Wow. That may be the hot take of the year right there.
I thought it was pandering.
I do think that at times, I've said Bryce Harper panders. I think Kelsey panders. I thought the Super Bowl speech was genuine. Thought that was just who he is. Look, they are.
Listen,
he is after like 2 dozen beers, too.
Yeah, he was hammered.
Utley opened the can, right?
Yeah.
So now everybody just can walk through it. I just think there's a point. I get it. You're rallying. Football crowd, that's a little different. You're rallying the troops. Everybody's a little more Roman Coliseum-esque. I get it. But, like, I'm watching it last night. I'm going, all right, here it is. He's got the shirt, tight-fitting shirt, and this plays right into him as an everyman. And he forgot his bag, and he had to buy a shirt. I get it. And then it went further. And I know people out there, the majority of people are thinking that the problem's with me. But I'm telling you that it was uncomfortable and unnatural for me to hear that.
I told you I missed it. How was his analysis otherwise? I've heard it was pretty good.
His analysis was fine. Yeah, his analysis was fine. This was the opening of it.
Yeah.
This is the first time you introduced Jason Kelsey to the world on a pregame show. And you got Scott Van Pelt, who's all buttoned down, and here comes the T word out of his mouth. I just don't understand it.
Mike didn't like teat.
If he would have said teat, it would have been better.
Teat. Whenever I hear that, I think of...
Really? That would have been better.
I think of Ben Stiller in Meet the Parents when he's like, and I had to get that little teat, that little engine that could.
Had he said that, that makes it like a cow udder. It doesn't make it a human thing.
I'm just want to know if he's going to wear a suit. We're going to see him on Monday. He's going to be down. We're doing our pregame show from Xfinity Live, and so is ESPN NFL Countdown.
He'll probably have a suit. Maybe he got feedback that maybe it's nice to wear a sport jacket or something like that.
What odds can I get on an Eagles jersey?
Maybe.
Oh, you think he wears an Eagles jersey there? Yeah, you're probably.
Possible.
Maybe he does.
I mean,
all right. I want to hear some feedback on that because, like, if people put me on my place, I'm good with that. It's just that was my, sometimes I'll have a conservative view on something like that.
So Crypt,
I don't understand the bad language that you have. Well, it's not bad language, but it's not something that you hear on national TV.
Crypt Gaming checks in on YouTube. He says people ripped Brady for being clunky, but he was trying to be professional. But then Kelsey can show up like a slob, every man, and that's natural.
That's what I'm saying. It's just not professional. And now you're in a world where maybe you should be a little more professional. You can still be raw. You can still be blue collar. I don't know if you have to take it to that extent where you willy-nilly just say a word that it's not supposed to be uttered. See what I did there?
Uttered. That's that was pretty good right
Thank
there.
you.
That's a veteran right there.
610-632. I'm surprised you listened to that. I thought you'd be tuned out by now. I'm surprised you heard me say uttered.
You know how hard it is to listen to you and follow this YouTube chat at the same time? It's not
Doing
easy.
this YouTube chat. My God.
He's the real everyman. The blue-collar work of Bill Colarulo.
I am. Thank you, Ray.
I got this chair that keeps going down on me. Give me a chair in this place. Mike Missanelli Show, back into this. discuss it. If you have a different viewpoint than I do, I love that. I want to just go back and forth and why you think that's so cool. I don't think it's so cool. But at the end of the day, the conversation then is interesting to other people on why they think it's cool and why they don't think it's cool. Everybody has a different opinion about it. I'm not saying that my opinion is the be-all, end-all. This is just, when I heard it, I cringed. So it might be me. Maybe I need to loosen up.
Yeah, see, I've always gone with the mentality, if you're questioning whether or not you should say or do something, then you probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Right? And that would be something where when Kelsey's about to say it on national TV, I'm sure he thought, should I say this? Now, was it that big of a deal? Probably not, but I see where you're coming from.
I don't think he asked himself that question, should I say. That's
filter?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think that he is in such character now that it's expected that he would say something like that. And I think if he thought about it, he may, edit it. I don't know. But I don't think he thinks of it. They've hired, balls out. That's how they've hired him.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to, wear pants. That's all I'm saying. All right. Ray, what do we have on the text board here?
All right, we'll start with Aaron from Mount Laurel. I see nothing wrong with what Kelsey said. He's an absolute legend. I'm a father of an almost 6-year-old, and if he asked any questions, I'd explain to him that doesn't say the word. Parents are responsible for and required to address it if their kids ask questions.
Yeah, see, that to me is the typical response for people. He's real. He's so Philly. And I go, what does that mean? Like, sometimes you have to be a little classier than just Philly. Like, I don't understand it. All right, I got to move on.
All right, we got Jeff checking in. Mike, if you're worried about the kids hearing that, in today's world, you need to wake up. They probably hear worse.
That's not the point. And I know people always have that, well, they've heard it before. That's not the point that they've heard it before. The point is you don't have to force it on them. They're going to hear it naturally, right? You don't have to force it on them and be this cartoon character who would talk like that. That's all I'm saying.
Did you have last year when the Phillies would get a hit and they would do the little juggle down below? What'd you think of that? Because I knew kids were doing that on the Little League field.
I know they were. You know what? That didn't bother me as much as the spoken word, right? We were talking about it yesterday. How'd you feel about the LFG award, right?
Yeah.
Now, why did we bring that up?
Because the literal translation.
It felt appropriate, right?
It did. And that was for Brady, right?
Okay,
yeah,
so everybody has sensibilities, and you go, like, you don't have to go, well, that's Philly. Like, it doesn't have to be that way.
The one thing, though, that we don't know, ESPN hires Jason Kelsey, and there was a lot of networks who wanted him. They may want this type of stuff. They may say to Jason Kelsey, look, we want you to be your unfiltered self, and we want you to say inappropriate things because guess what? That little clip went viral.
I don't think that any network would want him to say inappropriate things because you just can't get away with that anymore, saying inappropriate things. So I think they said, we want you to be yourself, and he took it upon himself. Okay, well then, if they want me to be myself, this is how I would talk to my buddies. And sometimes you got to say, I'm not talking to my buddies. That's all.
Not that they want him to be inappropriate, but this is the same network that has Pat McAfee rolling for 2 hours in the afternoon.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a good point,
so,
Ray.
Like,
but they don't. Pat McAfee has a different deal with them. Like, he licenses his show to them. Like, this is produced by ESPN.
But what about Nick Saban? College Game Day, he dropped the line about paying players. If you don't pay the right players, then you're
bleep out of luck.
You're bleep out of luck.
You shouldn't say that.
You shouldn't, but he did it.
He did, and they didn't bleep it.
I don't know if is that live, that show?
Live, yeah.
Yeah.
So that came out because it was, I think the line was literally Pat McAfee next. Hey, congrats, you're about to go viral.
There's got to be some kind of decorum. I know the world changes, but there's got to be some kind of decorum where you just don't do that stuff on television. That's all I'm saying.
So Matthew Peter on YouTube says, to me, it's context. Saying it about his shirt not fitting, I'm fine with. But if he was saying it about a cheerleader, then it would be inappropriate. Do you think that applies because he's talking about himself?
I don't know, man. I grew up in an era where, like, FCC, there's 7 words you can't say. And that was one of them.
Oh, that was one of the 7?
Yes. That's one of them. Now all of a sudden the line's blurred.
Can you say the other 6?
No.
How
no
about you
one
let
ever
know
told
which
me.
one you can't
No
say?
one ever told me what the 7 words were.
Well, you go. George Carlin has a routine about it. The old routine. You call up George Carlin's routine. He puts the 7 words you can't say on TV.
I
that's
got to look
one
it
of
up.
them.
I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to say anything inappropriate.
No, believe me, the other ones are obvious. Right?
I'm trying to think of 7.
This might be the most benign word, but it's still like it's not supposed to say it. That's all right, what else do we got? Do we have anybody who feels the way I do, Ray?
That's going to be tough.
Yeah, I told you, Bill, the majority of people are looking at me like I'm a prude. And I go, okay, but like what?
You know what's
why
interesting,
is it necessary?
though? I want everybody out there who disagrees with Mike.
Oh, here we go. We got one.
But I want everyone out there who disagrees with Mike. I want you to shut their eyes, and I want you to think of Troy Aikman saying it or a Dallas Cowboy saying it. I guarantee you people would think differently. It's because Jason Kelce does no wrong.
Well, that's also part of the conversation we got into yesterday. Why is Tom Brady the lead analyst? Because he's Tom Brady. Why did ESPN bring in Jason Kelce? Because he's Jason Kelce. They didn't bring in Troy Aikman to sit on that studio. They want it to be entertaining. Should he have said it? Should he not have said it? To me, that rolls off my back. But this is part of what you sign up for when you bring in Jason Kelce.
Like, could he be entertaining without saying that word?
Yeah, he could be.
Okay, I guarantee you that the majority of people that are outside of Philadelphia, you probably shouldn't say that, but in Philadelphia, he's got that kind of insulation, and he's one of their sons, and he can say anything he wants. So, like, I know that I'm going into the eye of a hurricane here. I get it. But I guarantee you the majority opinion outside this area would say, I don't know about that.
I think the majority opinion outside of this area is like, oh, my God, this guy's on my television again.
Well,
I think right now that's the biggest thing with him. I think it's the fatigue of the Kelce.
Let's just keep it to the word. Like, that's a bigger issue.
Well,
right?
but I think that plays into the public perception of him outside of Philadelphia. We're like, oh, look, one of us up there on the TV, that's great. Everyone outside of here is probably like, oh, my, you're telling me I got to see the Kelces again?
Well, I don't know, because they have these market research things, and if they felt that the rest of the country are sick of the Kelces, they wouldn't keep perpetuating the Kelces. So,
well, I think people like to complain about things. Like, they have a lot of people on that network. I think that people like roll their eyes. Oh, I'm seeing this person again, or networks all over television where it's like that person's doing this now.
So listen, I know people are going, you're making too big of a deal. I get it. All right, I have an opinion on it. It struck me like as odd, and I said to myself, why would he need to do that? Like.
And a big thank you to Matt Manarick here at The Fanatic. Does a great job cutting all our promos and stuff. He just sent me the 7 words you must not use.
Okay, what is it?
Now we're safe.
What are they?
I can't say them, but I got to be honest with you.
One on?
One of them is what Kelsey said. One of them I'm surprised about, and I'll show it to you during the break.
Yeah, I knew that was one of the words. I knew it, and that's one of the reasons I go, wow, are we allowed to say that now on TV? It's like, and then I go, nah, it's just him. All right, 610-632-0975. The Mike Missanelli Show continues. 7:31 on the Mike Missanelli Show. You got your Phils tonight. Let me just touch on the Phillies and we'll get to the phones. I'm looking at the roster, what the roster could be as we go into the playoffs. Now, tonight, they're back at it, and they got Ranger Suarez pitching, which is it's a very important outing for me because he barely touched 90 miles an hour the last time he pitched. It was very strange. So, I got to look at this closely. On the roster, like, do they keep 13 pitchers as they go into the postseason or only 12? If they keep 13, they would have a 5-man bench. What would be the 5-man bench? Let's go down the starting lineup and the pitchers. All right, I want you to count. All right, Hayes, Marsh, Castellanos, which would leave Rojas as a spare player. Bohm, Turner, Stott, Harper, Real Muto. That's 8, right?
Yeah.
Wheeler, Nola, Suarez, Sanchez, 4 starting pitchers.
Now you're at 12.
Kirkering, Alvarado, Strom, Hoffman, Ruiz, Estevez, Walker, Banks. Gilbert would be the 13th pitcher. If it's 12, they would have to keep an extra man on the bench. So they have 5 now if it's 13. That would be Stubbs, Sosa, Rojas. Who else?
So that's 3. So we would need 2 more bench players.
Yes. So would it be Clemens and Wilson? Am I missing somebody?
Nah, it's probably who it is.
Clemens and Wilson would be on the postseason roster as a right-handed pinch hitter or a left-handed pinch hitter if Rojas is in the game or if they want to pinch hit for Marsh late in the game.
No, there's your...
But if they have 13 pitchers, if they have 12 pitchers, I don't know why you would keep both Gilbert and Banks. So if there's 12, who would be that 6th guy on the bench?
Wait, you included Schwarber, right?
Oh, I forgot Schwarber.
Because he's your DH.
Yeah, I forgot Schwarber. That's my bad. All right. So that's where it was. That's who I was forgetting. All right. So in that case, you'd still have a 5-man bench. Then you only keep 12 pitchers.
Yeah, so the 5-man bench, I think it's got to be Clemens and Wilson.
Got to be Clemens and Wilson. If they keep 13 pitchers, Wilson or Clemens won't be on the roster.
Any preference between the two?
I think Cody Clemens is more of a professional hitter than Wilson is.
Don't you need that right-handed bat, though?
You do need the right-handed bat, which makes it problematic.
So I think it's got to be Wilson. You know I love my dub-dub.
You love dub-dub, but Cody Clemens gives you a professional. I've been really impressed by him. I wasn't at first, but he gives you a professional at bat. He knows what he's doing up there. You know, it's because he's 29 and he's banged around, right?
And he grew up around the game for sure.
Yeah.
But when you look at his splits, it's pretty even, lefty righty. But Rob Thompson loves the matchup, so he's not going to keep a left-handed bat on the bench. He's just not.
I got to be honest with you. I think they're only going to keep 12 pitchers and have Clemens and Wilson.
May make more sense.
They need a right-handed pinch-hitting bat and a left-handed pitch-hitting bat. I think that's what would it be.
Wait, and your math works there?
Yeah.
So if it's 12 pitchers, and then you have your 9 starters in the lineup, that would leave us with 21.
Yeah, you need 5 extra men. So it'd be Stubbs, Sosa, Rojas, Clemens, Wilson.
And Clemens makes it too.
Yeah.
That probably makes the most sense, right?
Yep. All right, let's go to Ish in Levittown. What's up, Ish?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
What's up?
Hey, I agree with you on the whole Kelsey situation. I just think there's things you do and things you don't do, especially if you're in a professional setting.
Yeah, like for instance, could he have said boobs instead? You know, that's cuter. Like the T word is harsher. That's why it's one of the 7 words you can't say, according to FCC regulations. So he could have been chummier and said, my boobs are a little, and that would have worked, right? That would have been harmless.
Yeah, that's like going to dinner and you're supposed to with your silverware and making sure everything's in order, and you just show up unprepared. I don't know.
Wait, let's talk about the silverware thing. What? 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 The silverware what?
How you're supposed to have like your knife and fork in front of you?
Yeah, if you go to a restaurant, they do that for you, though. You're talking about if Ish invites a lady over to your bachelor pad in Levittown, right? You want to make sure you put the silverware out the same way. So go ahead, Ish. Tell me how you would put the silverware out.
Well, you can't eat spaghetti with a spoon, so you would have to have fork, knife, and.
Yeah, but what side do you put the fork on? What side do you put the knife on?
The left side and the right side.
I get it. There's a left and right, but where are you putting the fork?
Oh, the spoon and the fork. I'll put the spoon on the left side and the fork on the right side.
No, that's a violation.
See, you got to put the fork and spoon go on the left side. And that's it. That would seem weird because most people are right-handed, right? But that's the protocol. See, Ish, you would have screwed up the date right away.
Mike, I have a question for you though about Bryce Harper. Are you afraid of the power that he currently doesn't have?
Yes.
It seems like.
Yes.
Do you think he lost his power? Because
I think he's hurt. I think his wrist and his hand are hurt. Listen, they're going to have to get home runs from other people at this point. Maybe he bounces back in the playoffs. I'm comforted by the fact that he still hits the ball hard.
He has been, yeah.
Yeah, that hasn't changed. He just is not getting that oomph lift to get the ball out of the ballpark. And what he did last night, he's so desperate that he thought that was gone.
He did hit it hard, though.
He hit it hard.
It was just a
line drive. And he goes to the Detroit and does the bat flip. Come on, man. Let's go. Can't do that.
You can't. Look, I've gotten on Rob Thompson before. I don't know how else he could have handled it. Once Harper comes over to him and says, hey, that's on me, I'm wrong.
No, you saw Thompson grimace.
Yeah, he wasn't happy.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about it. So, yeah, I mean, that was Harper's responsibility to do that. My point is, dude, you know better. Like, you should know better. I get it that you love the hero walk-off type of situation feeling, but you hit that ball on the line. It wasn't a typical majestic Bryce Harper home run.
And you also got to know the moment. It's ninth, bottom of the ninth, tie game.
And again, like your teammates aren't going to say anything. You're Bryce Harper, but you're letting them down with that. Now they somehow managed to win the game. Being on first base is a lot different than being on second base. You can do so many other things when you're on second base.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Jackson in Phoenixville. Jackson, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
What are we having a lesson with Barney Thompson on how to which fork goes first in Pretty Woman? Or
my man Ish would have messed up that date. See, now he's learned how to put the proper silverware down.
That's right. So, guys, I'm from Philly. I've watched the Eagles play football since the '80s. I'm over Jason Kelsey. I'm just over it. Like, enough is enough with this guy. When he jumped over the wall with no shirt on, grabbing some girl and lifting her up, drinking beer, like, I would have been arrested for that. Like, why? Like, what is his shtick? Like, what does he even do that's good?
He knows he has immunity in this city to do anything he wants, and people.
Well, he wasn't in this city when he did that.
I know, but he's still like we're gonna not judge that. Other people may judge it. He knows that we're not going to judge that.
I think it was kind of pathetic. Also, I like Tom Brady doing his announcing. I didn't really listen to Kelsey because I'm tired of him. I just don't want to hear him anymore.
That's interesting. Now, I think you're the minority opinion. I think the ESPN is eating this thing up. They think they've got a jewel here, like some blue-collar ex-football player is going to tell it like it is. That's what they were looking for, and that's what they're going to get. I'm just saying, and that's fine. I don't like turn it off because Jason Kelsey's there. I just don't think there was any need for him to say the T word. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like he thinks he's got this, I don't know how to explain it. He just thinks he can do whatever he wants, and now he's out here.
There's a little bit of decorum involved when you're like if I go and I speak to a school, or I go and I speak to a sports banquet, or at a golf tournament where there's all males. That's a different thing. Like if I'm going to go to an elementary school, I may not talk the same way that I would talk in front of a golf outing where guys have had a lot of adult beverages after the round. You know what I'm saying?
I do, but this is also the characters that have been created for them. Like, what was it when was it Cincinnati that invited the Kelceys back and had like a mock college graduation ceremony for them? And then they both chug beers on the stage?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's
who they are.
This is who they are.
I get it. I get it. And I'm not saying you should be anything different than you are. I'm just saying that there are certain things that maybe you should have a little more class before you do. That's all I'm saying. Now, you want to go to a football game and you want to chug beers with fans, knock yourself out.
Now, that whole thing, the example he brought up, if that's any other athlete, and you go from a 10-1 start to an epic collapse, and you lose in the first round of the playoffs, and then you show up to another stadium the following week and are partying that hard, they would have been killed. And I get it. It's Jason Kelsey's brother, and he's rooting for Travis. That's fine. But fans in this city would have killed another athlete. Could you imagine another athlete losing a playoff game and then a week later partying like they didn't care?
Yeah.
You think Brian Dawkins would have done that?
No.
Never.
No. But, again, two different personalities. Brian Dawkins always exuded class. Jason Kelsey's a little rougher around the edges.
Yeah, but you could be rough around the edges. You don't have to. When all of us and all the Eagles fans are sitting at home very upset that the season ended the way it did, and Kelsey's out there partying like nothing's going on a week later, that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit.
All right, did I miscount this Phillies roster?
I think we may have.
Let's do it again.
Here.
Hayes, Marsh, Castellanos, Schwarber. That's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Bohm, Turner, Stott, Harper, Realmuto. That's 5. We're at 9. 4 starting pitchers. We're at 13. Okay, so now we have 12 pitchers. Oh, wait a minute.
Where did we miscount?
So here's
eight relief pitchers. So Kirkering, Alvarado, Estevez, Strom, Hoffman, Ruiz, Walker, Banks. Is that 8?
That would be 8.
Okay, so that only leaves you 4 extra men, right? Or does it still leave you 5? No, 13 plus 8.
So I broke this down.
13 plus 8 is 21. So that still leaves you 5 extra men.
Broke this down by the position players and then what we got in the pitching wise. I think you have 12 right now that are cemented with the 9 that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned 9 that we had, and then we had Stubbs, Rojas, and Sosa in terms of being on the roster. So you'd have 12 position players locked in. And then pitching wise, the 4 starters in Nola, Wheeler, Suarez, and Sanchez, Estevez, Alvarado, Strom, Hoffman, Ruiz, Kirkering, Banks. 7 more. If you want to throw Walker in there, 8 more. You're looking at 24. So you have 2 more spots. Do you go Wilson Clemens, or are they going to carry another reliever?
I got to go Wilson Clemens.
Yeah, I'm with you, I think.
Righty, lefty, late inning bat.
Yeah,
all right.
I think I'm with you.
There was we got a couple of texts in there that we had left off. Realmuto at one point, Sosa at one point. So I was making sure that
Realmuto.
I
went around the infield. Bohm, Turner, Stott, Harper, Realmuto. Hayes, Marsh, Castellanos, Schwarber. That's 4. That's 5. Starting pitchers. That brings it up to 13. You have 8 relievers. That brings it up to 21. And then you have 5 extra men.
Right. And that's Stubbs, Rojas, Sosa, and then you guys go Wilson Clemens. I'd be curious if they only went 12 pitchers.
You think they go 13?
I mean, the 13th would be Gilbert, a left-hander. I don't know. Or Walker.
Or Lazar.
If you take Walker off the roster, they may, I don't know, and have Gilbert and Banks as left-handers along with Strom and Alvarado. That's a lot of lefties, but maybe they go that way. I don't see the value in keeping both Banks and Gilbert.
I think Banks is on because that was
Banks.
They envisioned a role for him.
Yeah. All right, let's go Aaron in West Philly. What's up, Aaron?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, Aaron? How you doing?
Can you hear me all right?
Gotcha.
Kelsey's a podcaster now. So, we got a podcaster-type mentality. I see podcasters smoking weed, drinking, saying all kinds of stuff, and they just let them do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, who's paying them more, you think? You think ESPN's paying him a little more than the podcast is bringing in?
He sold it for $100 million.
He did. I don't know if he's getting that, though.
You want to know how much Wallow and them made? They made $100 million. Billy and Wallow.
Okay, all right.
They signed for $100 million.
All right, there's a difference, though. I had a podcast. I could curse on the podcast. I did. I cursed on my own podcast.
Right.
But
So
if I'm on like Fox 29's morning show, am I going to curse? Which I was on yesterday. Could I have cursed? No, because there's a decorum.
You should.
And in your head, you should know the difference.
Well, you should, but some people don't have that decorum all the time.
Well, how do you not?
And I'm not
You're a human being. Jason Kelsey's traveled all around. He's met all kinds of people. I get it that he's blue collar. I get that. But come on, man. I'm just
That's
saying.
just how I see this podcast with his brother, man. It's unhinged. I mean, they just go out and just say.
Well, guess what?
Sometimes,
when you go on the ESPN set, put the hinge on. That's all I'm saying.
But if ESPN is not saying nothing reprimanding,
I think he caught him off guard.
Going to keep going.
I don't think that they expected that he would say something like that.
Okay, so if he does it again, he didn't get. He
didn't get the memo.
Again, they didn't talk to him.
Yeah.
No, he didn't get the memo.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Yeah, that's all that. And the Phillies, man. Come on, Harper. Can't you run? Can't you run as soon as you hit the ball? What is he doing?
He got caught up in being the hero game winner in that situation.
You just looking at the ball fly.
He
and don't
should
even
know
run.
better than that because, listen, baseball players know exactly when they got one. Yeah, it's uncanny. The feeling when you don't even feel a baseball on your bat when you've really got one. So you know when you've got one. Those guys know that feeling better. Like in batting practice, it's the same feeling. You know you've got it on the screws. It's gone. That's a different trajectory that he hit yesterday. That's my problem. If it's up in the air, all right.
He clearly felt that feeling that you're talking about, though, because he thought it was gone.
Well, he misfelt. he misfelt. Because like that, I don't understand how he could feel that when it was low. Most home runs that you feel are in the air. Not that one.
Yeah, it was a line drive. You know what we didn't talk about?
What's that?
The Rojas mishap that results in a home run.
You called that a mishap.
That was wild, man.
A mishap, you termed that. That's interesting. We'll have to talk about whether that was a mishap or it was just a great effort that went awry. Because Tom McCarthy said, well, maybe he could have gotten to the fence a little sooner and he had to make that kind of a jump. Interesting. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first I need a supporting text because I haven't gotten one. Now, we've got some text on. Let's hear the Kelsey text supporting me, right?
Yes. MJ in Pottstown texted twice to make sure that we did not miss this one. Mike is right. Jason needs to be more professional. There is a time and place for it, and that wasn't it.
Okay. There you go. I mean, I know I'm a killjoy. I'm spoiling people's fun. I'm not really Philly. All right, what else do we have on the text board? What about Bryce Harper, right? What are they saying about Bryce?
Oh, while he's looking that up, I just muted my mic for a second because I went on Twitter because ESPN shared the clip of Jason Kelsey talking about it, and I wanted to know whether or not their Twitter was going to bleep it, and they didn't bleep it on Twitter. But clearly, they're loving this. For ESPN to share it out, in of itself shows this is what they want from him, man. This is what they want. Jason Kelsey's wearing a shirt he got at the mall because he left his travel bag in the truck. Ha ha! They put the laughing emoji and they share the video.
Are they going to feel the same if he throws an F-bomb on the air? Since they want to give him free reign to do anything he wants.
Well, I guess we'll have to find out because it's a matter of time before it happens. He's going to do it.
All right. Somebody across here on the text line was disappointed with Bryce Harper. The Munsters text buried it. We got like 6 or 7 Munsters.
Give me the Munster text. Give me the Munster text. One of my favorite shows as a kid.
Alfie and Albington want to know, would you bat Herman Munster in the 3 or the 4 hole?
Definitely clean up. Definitely clean up.
No. Herman Munster's coming up in the first inning for me.
Oh, you're putting him lead off?
I am not going to go into the second inning before Herman Munster gets a rake. Come on, man.
Yeah, as we're talking about characters and baseball characters, we didn't mention James Earl Jones, man.
Well, I'm going to mention that a little later.
Okay. We'll save it because What a voice.
Because I'm going to play about James Earl Jones. Now, of course, he was in your favorite movie, Field of Dreams. It brings tears to your eye. And I think Field of Dreams is a bunch of crap.
No, I think Ray said it was his favorite.
Ray
I never said it was my favorite movie.
But we have James Earl Jones in a classic David Letterman moment.
Okay.
That's coming up a little later.
No, my favorite James Earl Jones movie
was what?
Lion King, man. He was the voice of Mufasa.
Yeah. But
it's a great movie, right?
Great
there.
movie.
It's animation.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
I'll take him as
Sandlot's
Darth Vader.
another one. Sandlot was good. I didn't realize he was 93.
They will come, Ray. Come on.
Hey, come on. Good movie. Good movie.
610-632. Well, nothing but schmaltz, that movie.
Good movie.
I think you may be the only person not to like Field of Dreams.
It's all right. It's
Nah, those people will pop
it's
out.
just so forced. It's like, yeah.
Oh, it's a classic. Is there anyone out there that doesn't like Field of Dreams? Because I would like to hear from you because it's a classic movie. When he wants to have a catch with his dad. Come on.
See, that's what tweaked you. That dad moment. Everybody brings up the same moment.
It's a great moment.
But until you get to that, it's like.
I think you're just being a contrarian.
No, I like the doc. I actually got emotional with the doc. Had to give up the baseball career. To become the doc.
So you did like the movie.
I got the Burt Lancaster walking out. Come on, man.
So you did like
that was all right. But the girl with the hot dog.
Oh,
you know,
saves her. He's got to give it up. He's got to cross the line, Ray,
cross the line
to save the little
hot
girl.
Dog. And that made me tear up a little bit.
I think Mike would have been like, you know what? I got a bat, honey. I'm sorry.
This is my moment.
Yeah.
I've been studying this picture all game.
Yeah.
Forget the hot dog. Make this Philly show back after this. Hey, happy lunch hour. This is Mike Missanelli Show. We're going to climb in at 610-622-0975. Talking about a lot of things today. We got some Eagles, some Phillies, some German, or all the Field of Dreams, the whole bit. Because James Earl Jones has passed away. 93 he was, and in a little bit we're gonna play a bit where I was a big David Letterman fan growing up, so he used to have the top 10 list, which I thought were hysterical, and they had James Earl Jones do a top 10 list, which was a classic routine. We're gonna play that in a little bit, but right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for what, Ray?
The news at noon.
The news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, Mr. Ray Dunn, what do we have today for the news at noon?
This does feel like punching down a little bit, but I find it funny, so we're going to play it anyways. We talked yesterday about the struggles for the Browns and specifically their problem at quarterback with Deshaun Watson. Obviously, Sports Talk Radio out there has their thoughts on it, and this was in the first 15 minutes of the morning show out there. It's on 92.3 The Fan, the Ken Cartman Show, the first call they went to yesterday, and I just can't imagine being stuck in this type of scenario.
Dave in Macedonia, you're first up on The Fan. Hello.
Good morning, boys.
Hi.
Two numbers. You'll figure them out. 42.9. 144.
What is all this?
Watson's quarterback rating, Mayfield's quarterback rating.
Oh, Christ. I can't do this for one more second. No, that's enough. The first call out of the box, we're going to do this. The very first call out of the box, we're going to do this. No. I know what his quarterback rating was. I know that he was good. Guys, I'm not doing it right out of the damn box. Can I have a little bit of time before we do this? Can I have a little bit of time? That he ain't coming home. He ain't coming back. Only to play us. That's it. He had a great day down there. Congratulations on all his success. I can't undo the trade. I can't undo it.
That's probably the way I would have reacted, right? Just think about how we would have reacted here in Philadelphia if we had made this much of an investment in a quarterback that looks like he can't play anymore. Not that Baker Mayfield is Tom Brady, but I would be equally as frustrated with the fact that you have maybe no future with a guy that you spilled your bucket to get.
And that you can't get away from.
And not only that, there's another allegation against the guy which popped up today.
That did, yeah, another lawsuit against him for sexual assault. But, look, I understand the anger about the Deshaun Watson move. I understand the anger about the Deshaun Watson contract, but I'm with you. Baker Mayfield, he played the Commanders. Let's not overreact to what Baker Mayfield did. I still don't think he's ever going to take Tampa Bay anywhere.
Was there this much love for Baker Mayfield in Cleveland?
No.
It's just like all revisionist history. Like, oh, they should have got rid of this guy. They should have kept this guy. It's like what the fans said about Nick Foles here. They should have kept Nick Foles and not Carson Wentz. And at the time, it was ridiculous to think you could keep Nick Foles here after you drafted a quarterback.
Yeah, but there were people in their defense who did want them to keep Nick Foles even back then.
But there's such revisionist history. Baker Mayfield, seriously? You people in Cleveland complained about him the whole time he was there.
Yeah, when they had OBJ. You remember all those videos coming out?
Exactly. But it is so frustrating to have faith in the quarterback. It takes me back to the Carson Wentz days where you got so frustrated. Oh, my God, with this guy.
Real quick, Mike, the Deshaun Watson contract. Mm-hmm. If they tried to get rid of him after this season, he carries $172 million dead cap hit.
You can't do it.
It's
you're stuck with the guy,
insane.
which means you're stuck with maybe no future. That's the problem. You're a football team. I'm stuck with this guy. I have no future. What we got for the next 5 years?
He carries a $73 million cap hit if he's on the roster next year.
Maybe they'll turn around for him. I don't know. But he sure looked like a guy who just hit a wall.
Maybe he'll retire.
All right, what's next?
Pining for Baker Mayfield. All right, let's move on here as we get back to some basketball podcasts. Trae Young on $1 million worth of game and had a bit to say about where he thinks he'd be if he was taller.
You know what I'm saying?
Tall and that's all. That's what I'm saying.
They just out there, they tall and that's all. And they can finish and do all this stuff. And, I mean, if I was 6'8", like I feel like I would be the best player to ever play this game, just because of my mentality and the way I play, just the smartness I have on this game. Like, I feel like there's a lot I can bring, but there's a lot of deficiencies because, like, I'm 6'2", 6'1". Like, it's tough. I'm playing in a big man's game. You know what I'm saying? So.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. And if I had a girl, I would call her. What was that song? You remember that, Jim?
Is Trey Young out his mind? Seriously. Dude, LeBron's 6'8". Durant's 6'9". Like, you can't defend me. Look, in this league. You're gonna say you're gonna be the best player of all time. He's got skill, don't get me wrong, but come on, man.
If we're gonna play that game and we're gonna make anybody taller to be the best NBA player of all time, let's taller.
I was going to say, I don't think he cracks like a top 5, top 10 for me if they were 6'8" type conversation.
Well, see, we're missing the other part of like, to be a great player, to be the best player ever at that size, you also have to be a defender, right? Like, LeBron James is a defender. Allen Iverson was never a defender, right? Like, Trey Young couldn't guard you, Bill, and he's going to be the best player. You don't have any substance to say something like that.
I do have a killer jumper, though.
Yeah, you probably do.
Me and Mike are going to have to battle that out.
I bet you your jumper's better than T.J. McConnell's.
You hate on TJ, man. You hate on TJ.
I just can't shoot a jumper.
Why is he catching a stray in this conversation?
Because you opened that door.
What if TJ McConnell was 6'8"?
Oh, good point, Ray.
Not really.
Oh, if TJ McConnell was 6'8", maybe his arms would be long enough to actually shoot a jumper. Maybe you'd have a growth spurt instead of alligator arms. All right.
6'8" with the same size arms.
Come on, Trey. Enough of that. Trey, you can say maybe you'd be one of the best. You can't say you're
one of the best in the league
player
now.
ever playing the game.
Yeah. Oh, all right. One more. And this is keeping it with basketball audio. Yesterday, I played for you guys the Dak Prescott audio, saying the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, because I want everyone to hear that one. I can't play this next clip because it was a poorly coordinated chant, and I just feel like we might get one of the 7 words we can't say that would catch the airwaves.
Okay.
Because it's a crowd saying F Embiid over and over again, and they're being egged on by Josh Hart at a live taping of the Roommates show in New York City. Beautiful rivalry here between two organizations that have not made it past the second round in over 20 years. What do you make of the opponent?
We can't play the clip?
You can't
No, I'm not playing the clip because it's way too...
There's too much.
There's
too many
imbalance in the F. It's literally just them saying it over and over again.
Go ahead, Mike.
It's not a rivalry until the Knicks beat the Sixers, right? I get. Listen, I love Josh Hart the way he plays. He's a bit of a punk. You know, he egging the crowd on like that is ridiculous. I think Jalen Brunson may have been embarrassed by that. I don't know.
He was leaning out of the way.
Yeah, he's got a little more decorum than Josh Hart, who's a punk. Is it a rivalry, the Knicks and the Sixers yet? I don't know.
I'd like to. I mean, after the playoffs last year, I think so.
I guess it is. We'll see. We'll see. I think the Sixers come into the season a little bit better than the Knicks on paper. Maybe the Knicks system is a little better, but they're missing Isaiah Hartenstein, and I don't know if that's going to work out for the Knicks. I like it though. Yeah, you got the Villanova Philly connection now. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I like that both teams are good. I want the rivalry. I want it. I didn't love that the Knicks fans took over the Wells Fargo Center in the playoffs. That was a little...
The rivalry can't... See, when you already have an interesting rivalry, which is Boston, I don't know if the Knicks can leak in there.
You may be right.
6-1-0.
I see some bad blood. If you're leading chance like that after beating them in the playoffs...
Yeah, I guess.
But
then you got the Villanova love that kind of files the edge off.
You're also talking about a fan base who won game 1 of a series and were chanting, "We want Boston," when Boston wasn't even the next team they were playing.
Yeah, they're a little delusional up there. I can't help that.
They're ridiculous.
Mike Missanelli show. I'm going to say the T word later in the show after this. Sorry about that. I get the bathroom. If I were only taller.
If you were only taller,
I wouldn't feel like I'm crunched down in this chair, man. We got to do something about this. It's not helping my back.
Yeah, you do look really short over there.
Yeah. This chair, it's lower. It's very strange.
We get you the other chair sitting there.
All right, can you do something about this? And you're executive producer. Can you get
executive?
Can you get your
How
host?
did that promotion happen?
Yeah, he just threw an executive one.
All right.
You got to get your host a better chair, man.
There are 4 other chairs in this room.
I know, but one is too high and doesn't go down. These are the all broken down chairs that when I left here 2.5 years ago, still here. I figured I'd come in here that the chairs would be spiffed up a little bit. Come on now.
That was the TV budget behind you.
610-632-0975. Ray, are you on the dating apps?
I am, yeah.
All right, so what's going on here? Do you have a dating app question for us?
I do.
Okay, well, what's the situation here?
So I'm thinking I might be caught up in a double standard here. Because last week I received a message back, and I was like, wow, I don't remember sending a message out. It was from 6 weeks earlier I finally got a response. I was a little annoyed about that. Logged onto a different app, was going through a little bit, and then I responded to someone, and it was about a month later. And I was really annoyed about the whole 6-week thing. Hey, you're getting back to me after 6 weeks? Yeah, I'm not taking you out on a date. But then I expected a response back after a month. Is there a statute of limitations for when the message on the dating app expires?
Oh, 2 days. 2 days is the statute.
I disagree.
Well, wait, hold on a second. The woman has shown that's such a lack of interest that she waits 6 months? You're not going to take that as a...
That's not what happens.
What?
Here's what happens.
As somebody
First of
who's
all,
been on the dating apps?
Yes. I was on the dating apps for a little while.
Very successful.
Okay.
Very successful. I ended up marrying my wife. We met on Hinge.
On a dating app?
We met on Hinge, yes.
Oh, all right.
But here's what happens. You end up having all these messages going because Ray's a good-looking guy. So the girl you're talking to, attractive, she's probably got a lot of messages going. She may have connected with somebody 6 weeks ago when you and her were messaging each other or whatever. And now if she starts dating this other guy, she's a good woman. She's not going to start continuing to talk to you. But maybe it didn't work out. So now what she does is she jumps back in the dating app because it didn't work out. And she goes, you know what? I really wanted to meet this kid, Ray. I heard he produces Mike Missanelli and Bill Colarulo. I think I'm going to reach back out to him. So I think it actually shows that she's a good woman. She's not going to continue to talk to other men while she's with this guy she's dating. That's the reason the delay. Not that she wasn't interested. She was preoccupied.
The ego takes a hit on this one, though. I'll be honest with you. The response after 6 weeks, I'm sitting there like, do I even go down
First of all, she chose someone over Ray.
That's part of it.
If it didn't work out, then she can't, like, all of a sudden now come through the back door. She's out.
For someone who's on apps. It's not that she chose someone over you. You know it's fast moving, man.
Oh, yeah.
It is fast moving. So she may have just gone on a date before you had an opportunity to take her out.
All right, so why wouldn't she say that to him? Listen, I like you. I'm currently dating someone else, but if it doesn't work out, maybe we can get together. I like something like that. Be honest.
Well, because she probably would have had to send that message to 15 people.
She ghosted him.
You got like 15 chats going at once, at least. Ray, how many chats you got going at once?
Yeah, no personal questions at this time.
You got a lot of chats going. You forget what you said to people.
Yeah, no, that's the toughest part.
It's a different world, man. I didn't like the dating app.
No, I don't enjoy it.
What app you on?
Hinge.
Yeah, Hinge is the best one.
You know, the one that everyone's on.
Yeah, Hinge is a good one. I like
Hinge. She's out. As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, my ego takes too much of a hit here. I don't think it's the right.
You got to control this situation, man. You got to embrace your worth.
I don't think
it's for her embracing your worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's the right.
You're talking
choice
to a single 68-year-old man over there. However old you are. Am I allowed to say your age?
No, you're not. Shouldn't have.
Is that how old you are? I guess. Now Mike's not going to be happy with me at the end.
Well, now he's going to be replaced.
Yeah, now I can ignore him. That's one thing. Not what I just did.
All right, we got a passing of James Earl Jones. All right, this guy's a legendary actor, and everybody remembers him from Field of Dreams. Everybody loves Field of Dreams except me.
No, a lot of people here don't either.
Really?
I went out into the hallway after I yelled at you for not liking Field of Dreams, and 4 people agreed with you. They're all young, though.
It's too schmaltzy for me, and that doesn't really constitute a sports movie. But anyway, he passed away. Now, I saw this on Twitter or an X, whatever you call it, I don't remember this. I used to watch David Letterman all the time, and I loved the top 10 list. I used to do the top 10 list when it was in vogue when I was working with Steve all the time, make up my own top 10 list. So he gets James Earl Jones to do a top 10 list for him, which, if I'm a classically trained actor, maybe they go, I'm not doing that. It's so too silly. But James Earl Jones played along with the joke, and I thought the bit was hysterical. So here it is. The top 10, what is it? The top 10 what? Letterman will announce the top 10 things, whatever. Here it goes.
Top 10 things that sound cool when spoken by James Earl Jones. Here we go. Number 10.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah. Number 9.
Objects in mirror may be closer than they appear.
Number 8.
J-Lo in the house.
J-Lo in the house.
Yeah, that sounded cool.
Number 7.
Click here now for the hottest sex sites on the web.
Number 6.
And the Academy Award for Best Picture goes to Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah. Number 5.
You're not fully clean until you're zestfully clean.
All right, fine. Number 4.
You mean I get all these great funk classics on just one CD or cassette?
Yeah. Number 3.
Number 3.
Well, now, wait a minute. That makes no sense at all. The number 2 cool thing when spoken by James Earl Jones.
Meow, 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 meow.
And the number 1 thing that sounds cool when spoken by James Earl Jones.
What's up?
What's up? All right,
Oh, those are great commercials.
There you go. So, yeah, they just replicated some commercials. But the fact that he played along with that was pretty cool.
I remember it was pretty cool. I remember when he did the national anthem at the '93 All-Star game.
Oh, really?
He just read the national anthem.
He read it? Really?
Yeah. It was really good. Ray
Wow.
doesn't remember that, but
I saw it.
I
Actually
don't
on
remember
Twitter.
it either.
Right, he just read it. He didn't
Yeah.
sing it. He just read the national anthem. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, Letterman. I loved the early Letterman. It was so different. The stupid pet tricks and where he used to throw stuff off of high buildings.
He has that show on Netflix now, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't watch that.
I've never seen it.
I don't like the beard.
He does have a long beard now.
Ridiculous. A long gray thing. I don't know.
I'm going to try to catch him. I'm going to keep this thing going.
610-632-0975 is how you get in. Back after this. 20975, or you can send us a text. All right, I wanted to bring this up. We've now seen the video of the arrest of Tyreek Hill. First of all, what was your reaction, Bill and Ray, to what you saw? Did you see it?
I have not seen it yet.
You have not seen it yet?
No, I was at the Phillies game
Ray,
last
did
night.
you see that? It's posted. It's all posted now.
I did.
You did. Okay, what was your reaction to it?
Yeah, that situation should have never gone the way it did.
So it was overzealous?
Yeah.
Okay, and first of all, it was ridiculously overzealous. So here's what happens. Now, I've watched enough episodes of Cops to know when an officer comes to your window and asks for your license and registration, you give them the license and registration and you don't balk. But I've also seen when you don't give it to them right away, where they now pull you out of a car. Here's the thing. I know everybody should be treated equally. I don't understand how once the license was presented to the officer, he doesn't put two and two together and sees that it's Tyreek Hill going to the game. Why it has to escalate where they pull him out of a car, handcuff him, and have to lay him flat, even though he tells them, I had knee surgery. I can't. They want him to sit on the curb. I had knee surgery. I can't sit on the curb. Blah, blah. And then they put him flat out on the road. Now you look. The officers are barking a lot of commands to him, and they're getting really crazy. You have to listen to it, Bill, to really get the perspective. It looks like it's a Latino officer who's doing this to him. I said it today. I don't understand how that situation could escalate to that type of a situation. I just don't get it. I understand that you're supposed to follow orders, and I don't know what he did. He said he put his window back up, and they said, put your window down, and that's what triggered them to pull him out of the car. First of all, I don't know, why wasn't his door locked? Like, how could they just open his door? It was a sports car that the door lifted like an old DeLorean and went in the air. It might have been a Lamborghini or whatever it was. And they yank him out of the car physically, yank him out of the car. Now, what about that is appropriate? Is he a threat to them at that point?
I got to watch it. I'm seeing it now. It's all over Twitter.
Yeah, it's all over. I mean, it was posted last night. So it was all over Twitter, and you get the exact audio of the whole thing. And I'm just asking a question. Like, here's the thing. They looked at him, in my opinion, like a black man. And maybe this is the loophole, because if you're a celebrity black man, maybe that's what puts police off. But in general, I've read that those cops looked at him like a black man, and this is something we have to do to a black man in a car who doesn't follow orders. That's what I got out of it. Now, if that bothers people as being an overly liberal view, then it bothers you. But one of the problems in this country are episodes like that happen all the time. And this is why you have a mistrust of police officers. And this is why it escalates into a situation like that. Was there a gun? Was he being overly belligerent? Was he going to fight them? What would be the reason why you had to drag him out of that car at that point, where a police officer should come around and have a conversation to find out what's really up? And in that conversation, maybe they learned that, okay, he was driving recklessly. He's trying to get to a game. He's a player for the Miami Dolphins. We're still going to give you a citation. We're still going to give you a reckless driving citation, but it doesn't have to escalate into that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and then Tyreek Hill follows it up with 7 catches, 130 yards, touchdown. Best player, voted the best player in the NFL by his peers.
Should they know who he is? Well, I don't know. Do they pay attention to life? Do these police officers know that they're a professional football team that plays in Miami and that he's been in the news 1,000 times? Should they have knowledge of that? What do? They live in a cave and they come out with their police uniform on?
I think it was a block away, right, from Hard Rock?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's 3 officers there. The one Latino officer is getting really belligerent with Tyreek Hill. Why can't another officer come over to de-escalate the situation and find out in a conversation what's what? Just like they should have in Kentucky with Scotty Scheffler. I don't understand how it doesn't get to a conversation where you actually find out what's going on.
Whatever. Did all those charges get dropped against Scheffler?
Yes.
That's all done now?
Yes.
Did he take any action, Scheffler? Or they're just,
I don't think he did. I think it was just dropped. Now, they put one of those officers, and I assume the one that was barking all the commands, and then he turned on Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell pulls over, and he's trying to alert people that Tyreek Hill's on the ground in handcuffs, and then he turns on Calais Campbell and demands his license. Come on, man. This has got to be a de-escalated situation. Why does it get to that point? There's not a threat there.
Yeah, I think people want to weigh in on that.
And I'd love for people to weigh in on it. 610-632-0975 is how you get in. Let's go to Jared in Cherry Hill, though. He's been hanging for a while. Jared, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Jared?
Good to have you back. You make my mindless work tasks go a lot faster, so thank you for that. Point about Jason Kelsey. So ESPN is promoting that clip because this is exactly what ESPN is going for in this day and age. You know, this is the era of Pat McAfee and the Manning cast style authenticity. And Kelsey, he obviously started his media career as a podcaster, and I think he just offers that in general.
I get why he would appeal to them. I also know that this is conventional TV, and there's FCC regulations. In a podcast, there's not. On TV, there are certain words that the FCC prevents you from saying. What he said was one of them. So what are we going to do? We're going to loosen the whole thing where you can just talk like, you can say the F-bomb, and that's a regular part of broadcasting? The reason why the FCC has these rules, they're trying to protect people who don't want to hear it. Certain people have a certain decorum that they don't want to hear a curse word or a word like that.
I just think it's moving in that direction more and more.
Well, it might, but the FCC has to be involved in this. Then disband the FCC. There's an FCC. So let's just go. It's a Wild Wild West. You can talk with whoever you want.
In that direction.
Yeah, I get it. It's going in a direction. Should it be going in a direction? Should we embrace decorum again? I don't know. There's not ever going to be a world where a regular broadcast, because the FCC is still in existence, is going to allow you to say the F-bomb, which people use on a regular basis as a verb, a noun, an adjective. It works in any form, right? So we're going to allow that to be on public TV now?
I just pulled up the FCC language, and it just says profane content, including grossly offensive language that is considered a public nuisance. So I don't know if that would be
You get
defined.
more leeway after 10 o'clock. The rules are lessened after 10 o'clock when they feel that young people are not watching television. So sometimes you'll hear something, that's on regular TV, but it's always in that time slot.
Yeah, that was before 10 o'clock. That was the pregame show.
Yes, and it's a national audience where there's a class that the FCC tries to protect from foul language. That's all I'm saying. And as Kelsey goes, I get it. He's a character. This is what he does. He's rude and crude. He's an everyman who will shotgun a beer at a bar. I get it. When they put him on TV, there should be this kind of decorum. Now let me just go into this here because I'm reading a story on Outkick, right, which is something I would never listen to or read, right? Outkick, of course, is a very conservative network. So this guy writes the story. His name is John Simmons. And he says, he goes on to talk about Kelsey. If he forgot his travel bag at Stadium, not the best look for a guy in his first appearance on national TV. But if anybody can own it and roll with it, it's Jason Kelsey. And, of course, he did. And then he goes with the quotes. It fits my belly now. I've lost a little weight, but my T's are still struggling. That is a golden first line in his television career. Welcome to the broadcasting world, Jason. you'll fit right in. All right? So he's lauding it. Now, I look at this guy, it's John Simmons. Guess where he graduated from? He graduated from Liberty University, which is Jerry Falwell's conservative. If anybody would be against saying that T word on television, it would be Jerry Falwell. So is this John Simmons who graduated from Liberty University? Is he an example of a failed graduation? Right? Because he is now endorsing saying a bad word on television after going to Liberty University.
Yeah, I guess it's a different world, man. It's 2024. ESPN clearly loved it. They retweeted it. This is what they want from them. And look, we're talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. People are probably going to tune in next Monday night, regardless if you're an Eagles or Falcons fan, just to hear what Kelsey has to say. So it's working. This is what they want.
All right. Let's go to Winston in Philly. Winston, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Winston.
What's up, Mike?
What's going on, man?
What's up, brother? I'm happy you back online.
Thank you.
We're back on the radio. I just wanted to chime in on the situation with the police, man.
Mm-hmm.
If I can. I'm 41. I'm from Philly, born and raised. It just seemed like with me, like a lot of the incidents, run-ins I ever had with the police, it just kind of seemed like the police use a double standard with black men, and it kind of just feel like it don't matter if you in North Philly in the slums or if you like Tyreek Hill and you got millions. It just seem like the cops will always go out their way to just show you flex their power with black men.
It's a problem in this country. We've seen many examples of this. Now, did that shape this particular situation? Yeah, I think these officers saw a black man who was going to cause trouble, and they pull him out. And I go, okay, where was the threat? Did you see a gun? Did you think he had a gun? Was he threatening you physically? The only thing he did in this situation, he probably got his back up a little bit. And when the guy told him keep his window down, he said, no, I'm not going to take your order. Keep my window down. I'm not doing anything. It was a traffic stop. Reckless driving, and he didn't have a seatbelt on. But they didn't know that until they said, well, how come you don't have your seatbelt on, when they came up to his window.
Right. So you know what's crazy, Mike? I got pulled over one time by the cops, and they didn't even have a reason to pull me over. Like, once he pulled me over, I'm asking him, I give him all my paperwork, and I'm just asking him, why you pulled me over? And he said I had an air freshener on my mirror inside the car, and that's obstructing you, seeing what's going on behind you. And I'm just like, come on, officer. If you wanted to just say you wanted to pull me over just to make sure my information was right out of it.
Well, that's what you live with every day. And me as a white man, but I understand what you live with because I've seen enough examples of it, and I've read enough stories. I get why black people would have a mistrust for the police, which is why I would like it to be a little more civil. Because the only way you're going to curb it is to handle it with a little more decorum.
Correct, brother.
All right, man. You got to look at the video, Bill. You got to see
it now. I'm watching some of it.
And you got to listen to what was said in it. And I'm going, okay, I understand they have a dangerous job. And I understand that anybody that you pull over in that kind of a situation could be personal trouble for you as a police officer. I get the fear. But, once you get a little more understanding in this particular situation, I don't know why, as a police officer, you would have to react like that. It was a black man in a really expensive car. What is he assuming? That he's some kind of a drug dealer who's all strapped up? Once you find out it's not that, and once you see the license, and you should know that Tyreek Hill, you should know that name if you're a Miami-Dade police officer, because there's newspapers, there's news, the Dolphins are covered. It's like where you shouldn't be able to live in a cave. You should know who that person is.
And the videos I saw yesterday, I think there were people going by screaming, "That's Reek! That's Tyreek!"
It's like he's on face first on the road in handcuffs. And I go, why? Where's the threat?
Yeah, I'm looking at the video now online. I got to listen to it, though.
All right.
I got to listen to it.
All right, I'm off the soapbox.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. I've had, I practice law. We've talked about that. I've had people get tickets for that, having the damn thing hanging from your rearview mirror. You know, that's actually a damn law. Everybody thinks you can hang stuff from your rearview mirror. That's a law that they could give you a ticket for.
It's also a law that you shouldn't have your windows blacked out to a certain extent. I understand the law. Maybe he.
No, I'm not saying that justifies getting pulled over. But
I'm saying, he comes over to him, he pulls him over. Okay, it's reckless driving. I don't know what he did to be reckless driving. Comes over, and he's now getting the cop gets a belligerent right away, asking for the license. All right, he gets the license. He sees the license. At that point, it's a traffic violation. Go back to your car, write the ticket. Instead, it's keep your window down because this cop is assuming there is going to be trouble coming from that man inside that car. And to prevent any kind of trouble, they got to yank him out of a car. Now, Tyreek Hill is not a saint, okay? There's been enough baggage in his life. I get it. But at that point, where's the baggage? Where's the threat that you would have to do something like that? Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's a police officer out there that can explain to me how it could get to that point. Because the initial reaction is now from the police department, they put this guy on leave right away. So their initial judgment was he didn't act properly.
Is that what they're saying now?
Well, they suspended him. All right, so they made the judgment right away. Before they released the video, they suspended him. Well, they saw what they saw. Then they released the video. 610-632-0975. We're coming back at the 1 o'clock hour. We're back to this. Take inventory of the Eagles skating by in almost every game last year during the regular season. The Eagles were 10-1, and we're saying, who cares, man? A good team is a win. And what happened? We got smacked in the head because the people that thought a win is a win and they'd be fine really got a major lesson when it turned out that they weren't the team that we thought they were.
Mike and Bill have been pleading their cases.
You looked at last season, the offense never looked like there was any rhyme or reason. We didn't get that in week 1. They put up 34 points, and yes, Jalen Hurts made some mistakes that we want to see him clean up with the turnovers. But outside of that, I thought that the offense had really good rhythm. I feel good today. I'm excited.
I didn't feel that good yesterday because we were talking about Jalen Hurts and the bad mistakes that he made. I would feel a lot better if he didn't throw those 2 interceptions. You know, you countered with this against the Blitz. He was terrible last year. Against the Blitz in this game, he was 6 for 8 for 91 yards and a touchdown. So when you look at that, you go, does that counterbalance the fact that he threw 2 terrible interceptions because he wasn't thinking the game properly?
The Mike Missanelli Show Holding Court is brought to you by Grunko Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. We treat every case like it's Dallas Week. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. Now back to Mike Missanelli on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
1 o'clock hour. It's brought to you by Ferguson, HVAC, Lion, Conklin Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, and supplies. For every heating and cooling job, just visit one of Ferguson's counter locations in Bensalem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. Yes, let's get it back to the Eagles. We started off talking about the Eagles, a win is a win concept. Will fans be more cynical about this as they skate by against Green Bay? But Green Bay was a good team, so I've got no problem. I'm comfortable today, all right? Yesterday, I was a little bothered by the fact that Jalen Hurts didn't make any progress as far as throwing bad interceptions and turnovers. But I look at the power rankings today. I'm comforted by the power rankings. The Eagles are actually ranked 6th in the NFL in the power rankings, which is ahead of the Dallas Cowboys, who were very impressive against the Cleveland Browns, ahead of the Los Angeles Chargers with Jim Harbaugh, ahead of the Miami Dolphins, and just behind the Detroit Lions at 5. So the power rankings go Kansas City Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers, Buffalo Bills, I think that's a little high, Texans 4, the Lions getting disrespected 5, and then the Eagles 6. So I guess we're okay.
Yeah, and I actually agree with the ESPN power rankings more than those, where they have the Chiefs, the Niners, the Lions at 3, the Ravens at 4, the Eagles at 5. Above the Texans and the Cowboys, and then they got the Bills at 8. So I like that. But any way you look at it, yeah, your Eagles are a top 5 team right now, as they should be.
All right, and last night, Philly baseball, a game winner, a walk-off hit.
Best record in baseball again.
There you go, walk-off hit with the bases loaded. If you look at that last inning, listen, Bryce Harper doesn't run it out. And I'm thinking that's going to hurt them because he's not at second base. It's so much harder now to advance a runner in scoring position, but Bryson Stott does it. The little chopper that he beats out. So now all is good. Now I was thinking, now Harper knows he screwed up, so he's going to force trying to steal a base, and they're going to throw him out. That's what I thought was going to happen last night.
Yeah, thank God it didn't.
It didn't. So now it's 1st and 2nd, and here comes Buddy Kennedy.
Kid
from Millville, New Jersey, a minor leaguer. They got out of the Detroit system. Now they're going to figure in their final roster. Or maybe the future roster, and here he comes up, and I'm going, all right, if I'm this Clevenger guy, who, by the way, was a Philly property at one point, you got to get this guy out. You can't not throw strikes to this dude. And he walks to make with the bases loaded. And Cody Clemens, whose father tweeted out, that's what Tom McCarthy's call was, Cody Clemens can rake, because that's what his father put a tweet out.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, that's what McCarthy was referring to. Roger
Got it.
Roger put a tweet out. Cody Clemens can rake, and he can. I'm really convinced now that he should be part of the final roster as a left-handed bat off the bench. He can rake, he can hit.
And we did the roster. We figured out a way they could keep both Wilson and Clemens on the postseason roster.
Right now, again, I'm on the record saying I can't criticize Harper for anything. I can't criticize him for stuff that, like. Here's where I don't criticize him. You hit a ground ball, you're going to be out. The only way you're going to be safe is if they throw it away. So you don't have to bust that. you're dead out.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That's why I don't criticize him. And that ball last night he hit was not he didn't have the requisite spin to lift it out. Like there's top spin and there's underspin. Like backspin gets the ball airborne and out. He didn't have backspin on that. It was more of a line drive. For him not to run that out is disgraceful.
Especially in the moment. It's the bottom of the ninth. It's a tie game.
Yeah, so I pick my spots when I criticize him. That's a spot you can pick.
Now let's pick a spot with Johan Rojas. Does he get criticized for that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like that play would have been a great play had he, because he went over the wall with his glove. He clearly caught the ball above the home run line and the wall.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. He was. Yeah.
See, I thought he caught it below and it ends up bouncing out. Did he?
No, he.
I got to look at the replay.
It was over the wall, and then his glove hit the wall, which jarred the ball out. Now, whether he had his whole glove closed on the ball, maybe it wouldn't have happened. Maybe his glove was a little open. But I listened to McCarthy say, well, maybe he could have gotten to the wall and he wouldn't have had that kind of a jump that threw his balance off a little. I don't know. It would have been a great play had he caught the ball. He did not catch the ball because his glove then banged onto the top of the wall and it jarred it out.
Oh, I'm looking at the replay here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's elevated. See, I paused it for you.
His glove
There's a
is over
chance
the wall.
maybe it hits Monty's angle and doesn't go out.
No, if you looked at it in live time, it was not going to hit that angle. It was going
to be a home run.
Yeah, it was going to be a home run. And he got there and had his glove on it to get enough to catch it. But then when he came down, his glove hit the wall, and maybe it was loose in his glove, and he didn't squeeze it, and that's how it popped out.
Yeah, because his glove then hits into Monty's angle and then bounces. It's just, I don't want to criticize him. It's just that when you have Johan Rojas, you're playing him for his glove. You're not playing him for his
You're
bat.
going to blame him for that, huh?
I'm not blaming him, but
you're a little harsh grading on that.
You got to make that play.
I don't know that you have to make that play.
If you're Johan Rojas, you have to make that play.
It would have been a nice play. I can't like criticize him because his momentum, he couldn't control at that point where his glove hits. It's almost like a squeeze thing. Like his glove probably hit the wall, which forced the ball out. Like it squeezed it out. One of those deals. And you probably can't do anything about that.
Yeah, maybe I'm being too harsh on him. I just look at Rojas. He's there for his glove. So you need him to make big plays in big moments, especially if he's going to play in October. You need him to make plays in the outfield like that. I'm probably being too hard. It would have been a great catch.
You are being too hard.
It would have been a great
Way
catch.
too hard. Way too hard.
I thought McCarthy was a little hard on him. I got to be honest with you. I don't know. Can we get that? Let's get the broadcast of that where he's talked about. He goes, well, maybe he could have gotten to the wall a little sooner. Or, I was surprised that he said that, but it was legit criticism. Maybe he could have gotten to the wall sooner. I don't know. All right, you can play the whole thing.
You got it, Ray?
No, I'm working to find a way to get it.
Sorry, Ray.
I want to hear.
I think Ray can produce something like he's genie in a bottle or something. I don't know.
Yeah, people are.
Anyway,
I just got made fun of on YouTube saying, I guess Bill thought he would have caught that at Eustis. No way I'm catching it. I'm telling you right now, I'm not catching that.
Phillies back at it tonight against the Tampa Bay Rays, who used to be a good team.
It's a huge game tonight,
They're
Mike.
no longer a good team. I don't know how that fell apart, but it's Taj Bradley against Ranger Suarez. And
That's
it is
why
a
it's
big
huge.
game for Ranger Suarez. But the Phillies are a prohibitive favorite. Minus 175 tonight.
I don't even care if they win. I'm serious. I don't even care if they win. I just need to see Rojas, or not Rojas, excuse me.
You got Rojas on your mind?
I do. I need to see Ranger Suarez be the guy he was before he went on the IL. I need to see the velocity up. I got to make sure he's got all his pitches. Hopefully I want to see them win. But for me, more importantly, I need to see Ranger Suarez go 6 solid innings.
I agree with you. I was stunned when I saw his last outing and had the lack of velocity he had. So we'll see if that increases. And if it doesn't increase, I got worries. I really do. Like tonight, that velocity's got to be back where he had it at 94, maybe 30 even at 95. He can get it up to a time. And 90 there's something wrong. And I don't know if he was just trying to go through the motion just to get through that last start, and he was gaining strength as he goes along. Anyway, the 1 o'clock hour is brought to you by Ferguson HVAC Line Conklin. Attention, you HVAC contractors, for equipment, parts, and supplies. For every heating and cooling job, just visit one of Ferguson's current locations, Ben Salem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. And, of course, we're talking about Jason Kelsey's debut last night on Monday Night Football. It's the 49ers take care of the Jets, where he uttered the T word. And had he said boobs or even teats, it would have been less intrusive than what he said, right? Teat.
Totally acceptable.
All right, let's go to Bruce in Philadelphia. Bruce, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Bruce.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, Bruce. How you doing?
All right, I'm an ex-Philadelphia police officer.
Yes, sir.
I got a call. There's a guy on East River Drive acting suspicious. I go down there, and I find out it's Ed Van Imp from the Flyers, acting like a screwball. So I said, listen, as soon as I found out it was him, I said, listen, he said, take him up to the Marriott. I said, I'll take you up there. Meanwhile, all these people, there's a big fight down here, a whole bunch of stuff going on. So I put him in the back of my car. I'm writing up a report, and the next thing I know, he's got his right hand on my shoulder, and he's telling me if I don't take him up to the Marriott, he's going to throw me through the windshield of my car. With that, I get out of my car. Some guy comes up that's a friend of his and says, yo, do you know who that is? I said, yeah, I know who it is. He said, it's Ed Van Imp. He opens the door and tries to let Van Imp get out because he can't get out. Once he's in the car, he can't get out. You have to open it up from the outside. So he opens up the car and he starts letting the guy out. I said, wait a minute, hold on a minute. Next thing you know, this guy puts a $50 bill in my jacket. There's about 15 or 20 people standing there, and he's sticking a $50 bill in my jacket. I said, hold on, man. So I grab this guy, throw him up against the car, and the gun falls out. I reach down to pick up the gun, and he kicks it under my car. Now I got them both in the back of the car. They're both getting locked up. Ed Van Imp goes they take him up to detectives, up Northwest Detectives at Broad and Champlain. He goes in there, and I'm going to let him go still. He starts acting like a screwball, and he's walking around with his hands up in the air and says, I'm a convict, and the detective, they end up getting locked up for that.
All right. Obviously, he was out of control from the jump, okay? And that represents a threat to you. But let's now move it to this particular situation. How would you have handled that as a police officer?
You know what? It probably not like they did. This guy here, I was going to help him out. I seen what happened. I was going to help him out. And they've made a big deal out of nothing. As soon as I seen it was Ed Van Imp, I'm trying to let the guy go.
No, I get it. You knew it was Ed Van Imp. Maybe some other officers wouldn't know it's Ed Van Imp, who was an old defenseman for the Flyers way back in the 70s. So he recognized it, and he was going to give him a break, whatever. But that story is interesting, but I don't know how it applies to what we're talking about with Tyreek Hill. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Ricky Vitalico.
175 Ranger. Got to see if his velocity is up. We're going to be interested in this game tonight. Meanwhile, San Francisco 49ers, well, they got away with a fast one, didn't they? Christian McCaffrey was supposed to play. They didn't put him on the injured list. That's a violation in the NFL. You can't do that anymore, right?
They did get away with one. NFL's declining to comment on it, but yeah, Mason said on after the game he was told on Friday night that he was starting, but the 49ers did not announce that Christian McCaffrey was inactive until about an hour before kickoff.
Can't do that. And Allen's replacement really played well. But the big part, everybody watching that game last night, was a good matchup because Aaron Rodgers first came back. What was your assessment of A. Rodgers?
Dude, I've been saying this to you for 3 weeks now when we were doing our top 10 quarterbacks. I don't think you can expect a 40-year-old who's coming back from an Achilles tear.
You didn't think that he was okay last night?
He was okay.
Okay, he was
not
okay.
great.
His first came back from Achilles tendon injury.
I don't think he's going to have that.
You're not
great
going to give him the leeway? His first game back, dude. Against the 49ers defense.
You got him in your top 5 quarterbacks.
Of course I do.
And I'm telling you, you can't.
All right.
He's 40 years old coming back from an Achilles.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think he looked spry enough last night.
They didn't look good, though. The Jets did not look good. That defense surprised me.
I piggybacking off this. You see where Shailene Woodley admitted her heartbreak after that relationship?
Wow, her and Rodgers?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that? Oh, yeah. She was she poured out her heart on some show. Wow. She didn't mention him specifically, but she said, obviously, it was a reference to her relationship with him. Heartbreak City for Shailene.
Oh, it's a shame.
Now, she's the one apparently who broke up with him, but it still was Heartbreak City. She thought she had found love.
What was she in? What movies?
Shailene Woodley?
Yeah.
She was in that movie with George Clooney. It was actually
Descendants or something?
Yeah, The Descendants.
Yeah.
But she's been in a lot of movies. She was in that very successful series with Nicole Kidman. What was it called?
Pretty Little Lies.
Pretty Little Lies.
I've never seen it. I heard it's good.
It was very good. It's very good.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I watched that to the end. Shocking ending, too.
Oh, don't tell me.
I won't tell you the ending.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the quote that she had about A-Rod. Didn't A-Rod, he dated Danica Patrick, too, didn't he?
I think that's right.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers did, yes. Yeah, he's not a guy, I think, that he's enough of a narcissist that he can't have a relationship with anybody. Not like normal relationship.
Wait, who was it that he took? He took his shot on draft night with somebody, didn't he? The night he got drafted, I remember him saying something to somebody. Hey, you miss all the shots you don't take, Mike.
I guess.
That's why we're telling Ray, don't ignore that woman on Hinge just because she delayed in responding to you.
I think Marissa Miller, supermodel. Is that where we went? First thing that pops up when you say draft night, Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know who it was.
2005, before he got drafted, he was trying to
That's right.
up Marissa Miller.
That's right. He was still a Cal at the time.
Listen, he's got a lot of money. He's a single guy, good-looking guy. He runs through them.
You see he's got a new TV show? Or they got a new show coming out on him?
Yeah, the documentary.
Enigma?
Yeah, Enigma.
On Netflix?
Are you interested in that, or you don't care about it? I frankly don't care about his life. I really don't. Like, there's nothing interesting about Aaron Rodgers to me.
How long is it? Because sometimes I have my problems with these Netflix documentaries that could be one hour episode and they drag it on.
I know you'll watch it because we're in the sports business, so we'll watch it. Right? We're not going to not watch it. I'm not that interested in the subject matter, though.
It's a 3-episode documentary. Like, come on.
He's a weirdo. He's estranged from his family. He can't hold a relationship. He's anti-vax or whatever. He's got that. Well, I'm not that interested in the guy. Yeah. So. All right,
Big cave guy?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so last night, Rojas almost makes a great catch. Pinch hit home run to tie the game. There's nothing worse than that off of Estevez. And Rojas gets to the wall, and it looks like he caught it, and then all of a sudden, the ball falls. Here's how Tom McCarthy described it.
Johnny, it sounds so strange, but it's almost as if he didn't time it. I don't know. The fence knocked it loose. There's nothing else it could be.
It's like it hit his glove, and his glove, like he had it closed funny. It wasn't closed
from thumb to
Firmly,
pinky. It was
right.
closed from thumb to middle finger.
I mean, listen, the fence jarred it loose. Maybe if he had gotten even closer to the fence, he wouldn't have even had to jump like that. I don't know.
So, all right, so that's a little criticism on that. And Kruk said maybe he crab clawed it. Like he didn't have the full hand around. It was a little crab claw with the thumb and finger.
Now, I'm watching the replay again, and I think maybe I was a little hard on him, too. It would have been a phenomenal catch. It's just that's what you want from Rojas.
It's interesting that they had that reaction to it, though.
Well, it's because
I said, you know what, that's just one of those things.
But in their defense, Mike, I was there last night.
Yeah.
And when you're watching it, it did appear as if he was the reason it went over the fence. Like, live, it looked as if he should have caught it and it bounces over the fence from his glove. But when you watch it on the replay, it looks as if, no. He
had it in
he
his
was leaping
glove,
up.
and it was just squeezed out by the wall. 610-632-0975, back after this. The fanatic. All right, a couple hot button issues today. One being the Jason Kelsey issue, which is a little more frivolous than the Tyreek Hill situation. As it pertains to the Tyreek Hill situation, this brought to my mind that about 3 years ago, Troy Vincent, former Eagle, grew up around this area, is now the executive vice president of the NFL, wrote a opinion piece in the New York Times about race relations and how the NFL is working with police departments and such. And he and I'm just putting this out there because this is not what a lot of white people live with, but it's what black people live with. And Troy Vincent lived with it because he is talking about giving his son the talk. And here's the talk. If you get stopped by a police officer, no sudden movements, check. Turn your music off, check. Don't wear a hoodie on the road, check. Keep your license and registration readily accessible, check. Tell the officer what you're doing before you do it, check. Keep your voice calm, check. Respond with yes, sir, or no, sir, check. And above all, keep your hands on the steering wheel in plain sight, check. The talk, is what he calls it, is something that too many black families know and have passed on for generations. So he's referring to, I think this was in reference to the George Floyd situation. And he's telling people how black families have to teach their children. So then he goes on to say, together we must find a way as a league to harness this moment. I have begun personally reaching out to police commissioners and police chiefs who have spoken about reform and have a desire for positive change. I have spoken with some of our head coaches. I'm in frequent dialogue with leaders from the Players Coalition and will encourage ownership to hold community roundtables in their individual cities. Sports unifies people and can be an agent of change. Now we have this situation.
Yeah, and that article's from June 3rd of 2020. Mm-hmm. So we're over 4 years later. Yeah.
Just saying.
Man.
Mark in Westchester joins us. Mark, what's up?
Hey, Mike. So, being a white man that's been married to a black woman for 36 years, this subject is sensitive to me because I've seen my wife profile many times over the years, especially living in Westchester. So when I see something like this, there is a measure of race here, but I think this is more, it goes deeper than race. It's about respect. You see the video, Tyreek really didn't give him the respect. We're all taught to respect police officers. That being said, this police officer still went over the top. He did not just de-escalate the situation. He actually escalated. He was asking for a license for everybody. Give me your license. Give me your license.
Well, at that point, listen, I put myself in an office. You can't, like, there's three. You don't know where a threat's coming from. So I get why they were concerned that other people now wanted to join in. They've got to protect themselves at all costs. So I can see why they saw those guys, like Calais Campbell and another guy pulled over. They don't know what they're going to do. They don't know if they have a gun or whatever. So I can see that part of it. I'm just looking at the arrest itself on why it couldn't have been de-escalated before you got to that point.
Well, it's about proper. This is the problem with authority in this country is they're still not trained. I mean, to me, that's not really a major situation. What happens if that police officer really gets in a George Floyd situation?
It's a ticket situation. It's like, I don't know. Okay, he got pulled over for going 60 miles an hour in a 35. He's trying to get into the stadium. All right? He's out. He's speeding. That's a ticket. The officer comes up and knocks on the window and says, put the window down. Hill puts the window down and gives him his driver's license. And the officer, and then he puts his window back up, and the officer continues to knock on his window. And Hill says, "Don't knock on my window like that." And the officer says, "I have to knock to let you know I'm here." Okay, we're all good so far. And then he's repeatedly asking why he didn't have his seatbelt on. Oh, maybe he unhooked his seatbelt. I don't know why he didn't. But okay, you want to give him a ticket for that? That's fine also. And Hill says, "Just give me my ticket, bro, so I can go. I'm going to be late. Do what you got to do." All right, at that point, the officer has the license. Should he go back to the car and just write a ticket? Like, where is the threat at that point?
Now, I watched the video during the break. It was the other police officer that came up, though, right? The one that had the license and the registration that was talking to him wasn't the one that was a little overzealous and threw open the door, ripped him out. It was another police officer that came over.
Whatever officer it was, the officer says, keep your window down, and he's tapping on the glass. So Hill's inside. He rolls down the window slightly. He said, don't tell me what to do. And he put the window back up. All right, boom. There you go. Now that ignites a police officer. And so in being ignited, then it's like, put your window down or I'm going to get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. The officer demands he opens the door. He doesn't open the door. He says, get out of the car or I will break that bleeping window. The door opens. Second officer reaches in, grabs him by the arm in the back of the head and pulls him out. All right, now, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to make any kind of point here other than it is a ticket. It's a ticket. There is no threat. Why does it have to escalate? I think I'm asking a very fair question here.
Yeah, in the video I watched, it does not look like it should have escalated at all.
It's a ticket. You know, and the only thing that ignited it was that he said, don't tell me what to do, which gets back to the Troy Vincent thing, the talk. All right, we have some Jason Kelsey text. I want to get all these texts.
Yeah, there's a little more. There's a little lighter.
I told people this was going to be a very unpopular opinion that I had about Kelsey saying the T word on TV. A lot of people thought that was cool, just like they thought it was really cool that Chase Utley said that at that celebration. So, and I'm in the minority on this. I just think that it's like, have a little class. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't cost anything to have a little class. I don't know what the upside is of you saying TITS on the air.
Yeah, but we'll go to the text. But you're saying it doesn't cost anything to have a little class. But this guy has built himself into a $100 million man from not acting that way.
But to a point, like you can that whole image that you have, embrace it, knock yourself out, make some money. I'm just saying the landscape changes somewhat sometimes. It changes. It's like, okay, now you're on national TV. The stuff that you would say in a suite to your buddies is not the same as what you can say on TV. That's all I'm saying. Has any other TV person, whether they're rough around the edges or not, said that?
Not that I can recall.
Okay, because there's like a filter in your head. Okay, I'm on TV. I can't say some things that I would just say in public or normally in a conversation. That's all I'm saying. What did the text say, Ray?
Anthony in St. Pete saying Kelsey is trying to shed the shirt and tie approach to commentators. That's why they took Kelsey. Personally, I've had enough of him. And I still don't see the hype about their podcast. Changed it after 10 minutes every time I tried to watch it. Maybe it was Travis trying to use his sexy voice all the time. LOL. Anthony.
Wait, who has the sexy voice, Jason or Travis?
Travis.
Listen, you can feel the way you want about him, but you've had enough of them, and you don't have to tune him in. The fact of the matter is, I was watching that last night, and I was tuned into it, right? So if you're tuned into it and you hear it, what do you have to say? Well, I shouldn't have. I just, it's in my face. It's in my face. That's all I'll say. It's in my face, and I'm listening to him. I'm intrigued how he would analyze. And out of the chute, I get teats.
Yeah.
You know?
Now let me ask you a bigger conspiracy.
Go ahead.
Does he really forget his travel bag, or is that all part of the shtick?
I don't know. I mean, how?
I knew we were going to go down this path at some point.
Is it all part of the shtick?
I don't know how it's possible to forget a travel bag in your truck. You're going somewhere. How is that possible? So you're saying that maybe it was contrived?
I don't know. I'm just saying, how is it possible you forget your damn travel bag?
How many work trips has he had that bag taken for him by someone over the last, dozen years?
Right. He goes on vacation with his wife, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like, are we? I heard them say that on the morning show this morning. Like, are we to assume that Jason Kelsey has never traveled in 13 years without Greg Delamitros of the Philadelphia Eagles, the equipment manager, carrying his stuff? Because that was the excuse that was made for him. Oh, well, for 13 years, people were carrying his stuff. Like, he needs Delamitros to carry him, follow him around on vacation because he doesn't know he needs a travel bag. Like, come on.
If this is contrived, can I just say, can't we be real? Do we have to have orchestrated reality TV?
I just don't know how you could forget your clothes. I've been on vacation. You've been on vacation. Could you ever imagine?
I don't understand how it's possible. I really don't. When you park your truck, you have to travel to the site. Do you not?
Yes.
Okay, so
but he had to fly there, right? Where was the game?
it was in San Francisco.
So he's not driving there
No, that's
from
what I mean.
Pennsylvania.
Like, what do you mean he forgot it in his truck when he parked at the airport? Like, where did he forget it? In his truck? Was it a rental truck that he rented at the airport and
That's
left
what
it
I'm
in there?
saying.
And if so, can somebody get it out of his truck?
But here's where the story doesn't make sense, Mike. If he forgot it in his truck, how did he drive to the mall to buy the shirt?
The mall was at the airport.
Yeah.
It was an airport mall.
Once he got there.
Oh, so he left it in his truck at the Philadelphia airport.
I'm assuming he flies private.
Why?
I would
They
just
fly private. What? They had a charter plane for him to drive to San Francisco? They probably gave him a first-class ticket to get on a commercial flight, direct flight to San Francisco.
Oh,
That's how he would normally get there.
Yeah. So I guess the story is he left it at the Philadelphia airport.
Rent his own car at the airport. Let's take two scenarios. He drives to the Philly airport in his truck. He has to board a plane in San Francisco. He forgets his bag?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
So let's take it now. He didn't forget his bag. He did take it on the plane. He lands in San Francisco. He decides to rent a truck. He's got the bag in his truck. He drives it to the hotel. Can't they get the bag at that point?
Well, how does he get from the hotel to the stadium without getting dressed?
They send him a car.
Yeah, but he had to have gotten dressed. So it's there at the hotel. This is why I'm thinking it was not real.
He checks the bag, forgets that he has to go get to the check bag to go grab it, like baggage claim.
He definitely didn't check it if it's a travel bag.
I don't think he
assume
forgot.
He's taking it on the plane.
I'm calling it out as fake.
You're calling it out as fake?
I think it was all part of the shtick. It's all part of the shtick.
Orchestrated reality TV?
I think the story was boiled down to something that's not believable, but absolutely happened.
Or, I'm going to take it one step further. Or, this was part of the shtick because when he gets to the set, he realizes, oh man, everybody else is in suit and ties. All I brought was a dress shirt. Let me pretend like I forgot my clothes. Because if not, I'm going to look like a smack.
But the dress shirt can't be his because it doesn't fit. It's like a stretchy shirt that I would believe that he bought at the airport mall of San Francisco.
Well, then that brings me to the next point of why it can't be real. You can't find a shirt that fits at the mall?
That's believable.
It's possible.
A guy of his size?
Yeah.
With all those stores?
It's possible that was the best fit he could get. I don't know.
You've gone airport mall, like shirt shopping?
Oh, it's airport mall. I'm thinking it's like a real mall
You go to the mall. He said mall. And I'm supposing it was the airport mall where you can buy shirts.
See, now, I'm surprised he didn't pull the forgot my shoes and rock the flip-flops, too.
He did have the shoes, though.
He did have the shoes. This is why it doesn't make sense.
You're right. It does make sense because he would have been on the plane with flip-flops.
The whole thing doesn't make sense to me. I think it was all contrived and made up to add to the shtick. Jason Kelsey.
That's so dishonest. That's not. What can we believe then? I
Let me
want to
tell
just
you what you can
believe in something.
You can believe that Travis and Taylor Swift
are in love?
Deep love. I actually think they are. But I will say, and maybe this makes me a hater, I thought it was cringe watching them sing, I believe in a thing called love. Did you see that video from the U.S. Open? Like, come on. You know people are filming you. What
I
are you
believe
doing?
it was cringe.
Cringe-worthy.
I think
Cringe-worthy.
Trying to pull off the word cringe, Bill?
Why, I can't?
No.
Are you too old for cringe?
Am I too old to say cringe?
I don't think it's old.
I'm certainly too old, as you pointed out earlier in the show, to say cringe, but maybe you're not.
Mike, you're never too old. Wait, you really don't think that was cringe? Or was it cringe me saying cringe? What's cringier?
You saying it both times maybe cringe more than that video did.
People on YouTube are supporting me on this.
All right, go ahead. What are they saying on YouTube?
No, Flyers in 7 is just saying that was awful.
Flyers in 7.
That yeah, Flyers in 7. That's a violation, that name. He has zero self-respect, Flyers in 7 said about wait, are you saying I'm awful or Travis Kelce? I got to actually get confirmation from Flyers in 7. He could be saying I'm awful.
No, he's definitely going after the Kelceys.
All right. Well, in any event, I think that relationship has a shelf life, and it's just a matter of time before it blows up. That's not true love. You know what that is? That's like a celebrity love.
I wish them the best.
I'm rooting for them just because of that general consensus amongst people.
You're rooting for them?
I am. I'd like it to work because all of us have been so cynical about them. I'd like it to work.
Why'd you care if it works?
I mean, it's not going to change my life either way.
Peace and harmony in your life if it works.
No, but I like to have the cynical nature of being watched out here. So if it works out, then that's one less cynical viewpoint I have.
Because Ray's thinking to himself, if Travis Kelce can find love, so can I.
Nah, that's not it.
I looked at that like a bedpost notch.
I hope you're right. I hope it's real.
That he would always have. That he could tell his buddies. I don't know.
I hope it's real, but I will say that was very, can I say cringe-worthy?
You could say cringe-worthy.
You could say cringe. No,
you drop it in cringe.
Stay with cringe, man. I like that.
It was very cringe-worthy watching them sing that song at the U.S. Open together. It was ridiculous.
Generation XY is what you are.
I'm a millennial. You know that, right? I'm right on the cutoff of millennial.
All right. You are. It is now time for what we call closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
I realize how long that promo
it was long.
Goes on. I could sit here in my closing argument and talk about teats, but I won't today. I will talk about football and the win is a win concept. I came into this show today saying last year we were bamboozled. We were hoodwinked about the Philadelphia Eagles as they got off to a 10-1 start. And I was back there saying, that's a good team that can survive every week. What I didn't take into consideration is, are they really good or aren't they good? And all of a sudden it blew up in my face when they lost 7 of 8, and I realized that I was hoodwinked and bamboozled. So am I this year? They got a win. They skated by. It wasn't that impressive of a win. Are we going to have to go through this now? Is this going to happen when they play the Atlanta Falcons and when they win by a last-minute field goal? Is it going to happen down the road? Are we going to take this team less seriously? I don't know. But I'm wondering if fans now are more cynical about this. Are you more on guard about your Philadelphia Eagles after what you went through last year? And should you be on guard to protect yourself? Well, I don't think the same thing is going to happen as last year. I really think they're a better team. I really think Jalen Hurts is going to be better, even though he threw 2 stupid interceptions. So I'm right now okay with it, and I'm okay with the win is a win concept because at the end of the day, they beat a pretty good team in the Green Bay Packers. I'm all good with the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's my closing argument.
We had a little clap, Ray? Or there. Yeah, I'm glad that you said, though, at the end of your closing argument.
What?
That they beat a good team. Because you said in the beginning of the closing argument it wasn't a good win. It's a good win. I know there's things they need to clean up, but they beat the Green Bay Packers.
A great win because their defense wasn't great. It was okay early, and then it wasn't. And then we had to wait till the final drive for it to be good again. And I'm worried about that. And I'm reading a story about Huff being the biggest week 1 bust since Ricky Waters. So people are lit up already about this.
That's your buddy, too, Ricky Waters.
Well,
catching a stray.
He deserved it, that stray in game 1 when he first debuted.
For who, for what?
He had to make up for it, and he never really did in this town. Everybody have a great rest of the day. Thanks for listening to the show. Stay tuned for Tyrone and Ricky. We'll be back at it tomorrow. It is, General Knowledge Wednesday?
Oh, yeah.
It is. And we have a sterling prize that I can't reveal until tomorrow. Good night, everybody.